an hour. That would be great for them. I don't believe in that. I think we have to raise wages in this country. I think we have to do everything that we can to create the millions of jobs. You know what youth unemployment in the United States of America today? If you're white, the white kid, high school graduate, 33%, the Hispanic, 36%, African American, 51%. You think we should open the borders and bring in a lot of low-wage workers?
He's completely right.
Or do you think maybe we should
Absolutely right.
jobs for those kids?
This shit, because it doesn't affect us at the end of the day. Because we're rich, we're gonna be rich, and it doesn't matter, okay? Who cares, right? True, king. Because if you
I know.
actually wanted to solve some shit,
Yes.
you would actually try to problem solve. You would actually try to figure out what's going on.
Yes.
You would actually try to do an investigation.
Yes.
You would actually try to get some probable cause.
There's no reason to go and do an investigation when the people that are doing the investigations are complete frauds and they're bought off by the State Department and they're being suppressed by people like Tim Walz because of the whistleblowers.
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
We have more refugees
I can see that.
per capita than any other state. That's not just morally a good thing, it's our economic and cultural future.
Like, there are whistleblowers that are saying that the investigations and the things that they've run into this were suppressed because they don't want to lose the Somali vote and they want to maintain their vote. So what happens when the institutions of enforcement are compromised? And they are compromised. They're absolutely compromised. You need a federal fucking investigation. You need to bring people in who prosecuted this. Biden's DOJ? Great. They should have done it a lot more. They didn't. I wonder why. And also, this isn't about Biden. It's about Minnesota. The fact is that the Minnesota state government is very clearly fucking corrupt. And it's being run by people that have no problem selling out their citizens, selling out real Americans for Somali immigrants that want to change the Minnesota flag to look like Somalia. They don't want to be Americans. They want Minnesota to be Somalia. These people are advocating for the most blood and soil nationalistic policies for their own Somalian country between kicking out Kenyans and Ethiopians. But at the same time, they want us to embrace the diversity of them being able to do whatever the fuck they want. When a Somalia person comes in and they become a serious one. There are people like that living right here in our city calling for rival clans to be expelled and pushed out. I'm just... Clash of Clans! We need to get rid of these people. We will never gain power and move forward as Somalians as long as these people live among us and we don't kick them out. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's have an investigation by the same people that did nothing.
To do an investigation, to get warrants, to indict people in order to actually...
And I agree with you, they should do this. I just don't trust the Minnesota government to do it. It should be the federal government. And even them, I don't entirely trust to do it. It's a huge problem. I trust them more. I'd rather them do it, but that's it.
Right. But you won't. You're not going to be talking about this in 2 fucking weeks. You're going to move on to another minority group to hate, another trans...
Yep, that's right. The reason why I'll be moving over to another minority group in 2 weeks is because in 2 weeks it's going to be discovered that another minority group is also doing this too. Because this is a cyclical, general problem. And I'm going to tell you something else. Minorities do not have a monopoly on this. Americans, white people, are doing it too. And the worst thing about it is that the white people, for the amount of money that gets spent, you have people like, listen, you know who's going to love this? Rick Scott. I agree these people should be investigated. This is, you're arguing with something that doesn't exist. Yeah. They all are bad.
Person too obsessed over, or another 32A that should be a 32DDDDD in some new fucking video game.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Because, and the thing is, everybody wants to make fun of me. And now, and this is the thing, they're all circle jerking about how wrong I am about video games, but I'm right. And everybody knows that I'm right. And if you think that I'm wrong, why do all the best-selling video games have hot chicks? Why is it that the most famous female characters are all the ones that are ridiculously fucking hot? Why is it that every fucking cosplay is about hot chicks? That's why. Because I'm right. And yeah, you're right. And you want to hyperfixate on playing Factorio and malding out while you're playing Arc Raiders. And yeah, go ahead. Do that. That's fine. But I will be here complaining about something else. Okay? You're right. I have a broad focus of things that I complain about. It's not just Somalians. He's completely right. There are tons of other minority groups that I complain about all the time, not to mention women. We cast a wide net.
Like, who fucking shit to play anyway? Like, it's so...
Fuck you. He's right about that, though.
Age bait every single fucking day, from one retarded take to the next retarded take. It's just unbelievable.
The thing is, that in a world that's crazy and in a world that's retarded, the person who's not retarded sounds retarded. The world has become retarded, and thus people think that I am. It's crazy to me.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Hassan had no problem with me saying this exact same thing whenever I was talking about the people that covered up the Epstein files. Remember that? Because I said the same fucking thing. I said that the people that are covering up the Epstein files, you need to find out, no, not the person that told them, the person that did it. I don't care. Oh, they're a pencil pusher. Oh, it's not fair. Good. Maybe they overturned the Biden convictions. Maybe they did. I'll set a fucking example for what it's like.
Like, why are you even pretending to care about the Epstein shit now? We knew that Trump was associated with Epstein before the fucking election, and that didn't sway your opinion whatsoever. Nothing would have swayed your opinion.
Destiny has a lot of accusations against him, but you're still screaming too. For all of the accusations and all of the things that you can criticize Trump on, I think Destiny going out and criticizing for this one specific thing, really, what's going on here? Can't you say that your own fans and your own followers are doing the same thing? They're looking at all the comments and all the things that you said and done. They're taking the plausible deniability and saying maybe he didn't mean it that way, or maybe because Destiny is pushing something that I agree with so much that I'm going to ignore all of that, and I'm still going to support him because he has a message that I agree with. So the fact that you have fans, it proves the hypocrisy and you accusing me of getting mad about Trump for this. Whenever you go and you allow this rot to continue. That's it. And average Americans
You are the rot.
are tired of having their I am the rot. And you know what? Rot is part of nature. Country rotted out, looted, pillaged by a bunch of random fucking vital point and a vital part of the natural process. Third worlders, and then asked to apologize.
Third worlders? Like,
You're so right, Destiny. Somalia is an amazing place. It's great. Everybody has a flat screen TV, and everybody's rich. For sure. Same with Haiti. I'm sure it's great over there.
like I don't want to be like, I don't want to do just like the personal thing, but dog, you live with cockroaches.
That's right. And even I can see it. If I said I live with cockroaches, would I ever expect you to let me in your house? No. Because you'd probably be like, no, you smell bad, I don't like it, like I saw those clips, you're gonna be gross, etc. I will not bring the roaches over to your house. I won't bring them to somebody else's house. I would never do that.
It doesn't get much more third world than that. What are we talking about?
Yeah, it does. You wanna see the shitholes over there they live in? Oh my god. It makes my house look like a fucking palace. It's make me look normal. This guy, this is the typical rich white liberal that thinks that the pinnacle of degeneracy is having a few cockroaches in the house and mold on the wall. Trust me, it can get a lot worse.
Here, bro.
That's something that happened before we were born. Absolutely. This is outrageous. Yeah. I'm tired of it. Most people are tired of it.
Right.
And I'm also tired of pretending
so
I'm not
right.
tired of it.
He has to sit here and listen to me agreeing with myself, telling myself that I'm right. Oh my god. This is such a great clip.
It's outrageous. Yes, absolutely. And there's another thing too, is that the
Bro. So
yeah.
I'm tired of pretending that we don't hate all
Are you gonna agree with yourself too?
fucking immigrants in this country. Like, wow, what?
This doesn't work anymore. Just stop. This isn't even worth responding to.
You said it, you fucking retard, when you said third worlders, because you're incapable of separating out criminals from just people that look like people you don't like.
You can try this, and he's getting mad. He's getting very upset. It's okay. It's okay, Stephen. Everything's going to be fine. I regularly have separated out the two. And also, whenever they come here and they have no skills and they have to live off the government, that's categorical. Why don't you relax?
Use better words, dipshit. Why don't you say what you fucking mean and mean what you fucking say instead of just saying random rage bait shit for your fucking audience?
The worst thing about it is that I'm not rage baiting. This is what I really think. It is. This isn't exactly true. Sometimes you conflate all of them. I'm sure that I've spoken in generalities before, but I've oftentimes clarified it afterwards. Sure. I talk about it all the time for hours. So yeah, I'm sure I've made a mistake here or there. But I think that I've done enough due diligence to show that I'm not really looking at all of them. I'm talking about the ones that are the bad actors and the people that are living off of the system. Yeah. It's pretty obvious.
Most of the
Well, no, the reason why I did that is because you're making an argument of the way that it sounds. This is, oh, well, it sounds bad because you're saying it in this way. But the fact is that, yeah, actually, whenever you bring bunch of people over that are from a country where they're not educated, they don't speak the language, and they're from a totally different culture that has completely different values, you're going to have a really slow and really hard assimilation rate and success rate with those immigrants. Like, yeah, that's the way it is. Sorry. Like, it's not all the same. Somebody from Poland coming over here, or actually somebody from the UK coming over here, they speak a different language. Poland speaks with, every time I see somebody that looks like they had a stroke, I'm assuming they're speaking in Polish. If there's more than 3 Z's, W's, and X's in a word, it's Polish. But my point is that if you take somebody from the UK and you have them integrate into the United States or from Australia, the integration process is going to be infinitely easier than if you're taking them from Mogadishu. This is a reality. But the problem is that because there is a racial connotation with this, we're supposed to admit that it's not true. But everybody knows that it is. It's obvious. It's just the most common sense thing that anybody could say. Obviously, people with closer cultures are going to better assimilate. Duh. Of course.
Well, they were indicted on the last Somali shit. We're Somali Americans. They were American citizens. What are you going to do? You say deport them back to their country. They're American. What country do you want to deport them to?
You just said it. Somalia. I want to denaturalize them, and I want to send them back to Somalia on a one-way flight. I don't want these people coming to our country and scamming us, and then for us to pay money to keep them in jail. Like, imagine going to a country. This is what's so ridiculous. Imagine going to a country, scamming them for millions of dollars, and being like, well, you can't get rid of me, I'm a citizen. Get the fuck out of here, are you kidding me? Not after that, you're not. You're done. And if you want to stop something from happening, implement a punishment that is so brutal, so savage, so extreme, that nobody even considers fucking around with it. And that stops people from doing it. If the rules are an inhibitor to justice, and they are an inhibitor to a nation exercising its sovereignty and being able to protect itself from foreign invaders, then the rules need to be ignored and changed. Like, just because something's written down doesn't make it right. Gay marriage wasn't against the law, was against the law for like decades. I don't base my morality off of the law. And by the way, this is the moral and ethical position. You're gonna outsource your morality, your thinking, your ethics to some random fucking people? They're all dead. All those people are dead. How the fuck are they supposed to know the way the world's gonna evolve? And we're supposed to live according to that. Give me a break. Laws constantly change. Slavery was legal at one point. Yeah, don't care about the laws. You talk about ancient Greece. That's why they have a punishment called ostracism. Yeah, well, there's been a lot of people that are on that. Destiny's mad about this. Oh, here's another one. Destiny listens to Asmongold describing undocumented immigrants as parasites. How much do you want to bet that this is going to be an argument that is going to be against me, it's going to be a personal attack, and then it's going to be laced with moral posturing of it sounding bad? Let's find out. This illegal alien, when you're the person who now has to pay a higher premium for your health care, you have to pay a higher premium for your insurance, for your home insurance, or your car insurance, because these fucking parasites come in from other countries. They're stealing our money.
Parasites? How do they even think? What? They're parasites because they take a job?
Yes, of course they are. Absolutely. Whenever they're taking a fake job and getting paid millions of dollars for it, what the fuck do you call that? So what is a parasite? A parasite attaches itself to a host country, stay with me here. It attaches itself to a host, and then it extracts nutrients, resources, and life force out of that for itself. Now, what part of that is wrong?
Being a parasite? You know what parasite even fucking means?
I just explained it.
This parasitical bleach, what's he doing? He fucking came and he worked for his fucking money. Oh, what?
Who's working? They weren't doing anything. Surely, and by the way, oh wow, the economy can't survive without a Somalian immigrant welfare underclass that we have to constantly pay money out of. This is a necessity for America. When Thomas Jefferson and George Washington drafted the Constitution, they were thinking about how is it that we can create a permanent underclass of illegal migrants or immigrants that are, in most cases, costing us money so we can pay for them infinitely. Oh yeah, that was definitely that's what they were planning on.
What, he fucking got a job? What the fuck? What? The parasite.
They're
That's
committing
right.
crimes, they're stealing
That's right.
items, and the
Like,
rate's right
like,
here.
it's like you're complaining about a thing, but you're so off on things.
Okay.
If anything, like even illegal immigrants probably overall reduce the cost of healthcare because they're paying it.
Well, then we should just import all of them, and then, well, why don't we do this?
Oh, that's what I said. Just import all of them. Oh, don't actually respond with substance to any argument I make because we're substanceless. But that's fine, bitch.
Well, of course not, because all you have to do, the thing is that all you have to do is go to, this is a very simple concept, right? Go to an emergency room, and you see a bunch of illegal aliens that can't speak English. Is that costing us money or making us money? You don't need to have all these graphs and statistics and, oh no, it makes it up. Think about it for yourself. Think about it for 3 seconds. For 3 seconds. First-hand experience. Yeah, I've seen it. The immigrants are sending money overseas? Absolutely. Not in his neighborhood? Yeah. At worst, it's costing lives? It does. Infinite money? Idris Elba is now Sir Idris Elba? Oh, congratulations for him. I think that's deserved. Good for him. He's baiting you to comment to stay relevant? That's okay. It's good content for me, too. I don't mind it. So yes, remember what he said? Let's just say it's 50 billion. He will use the same ad absurdum argument against you 5 minutes before this. I don't know why Destiny is bending over backwards to justify Somalian immigrants coming over and scamming us and living off of our welfare. But from my personal opinion, I don't think it should be happening. I think it's bad. So what is this? If you don't want to be autistic about it, check the sunlight angles. They easily match up here. Image 1 is from the site. Image 2 is clearly shown in the photo. The building Kitchen is next to is built close to the south. You can see the sunlight shining to cast a shadow. I mean, again, I think Destiny is trying to pick apart the most granular, irrelevant, meaningless detail. Like you have a 42-minute video that's exposing $100 million of fraud, and you're trying to see like, oh well, there's one time that you went there and it might not have been open at that time. What about the other 41 minutes? Why are people standing up for fraud? Destiny likes to always take the opposite side of things. He loves playing devil's advocate for stuff. I don't know really why. Like, I mean, anybody who's coming to the conclusion that this isn't obviously a scam is functionally retarded. And so, yeah, is Nick Shirley lying about his story? Yes. I mean, it's again, like, I mean, I don't see how, like, there's an investigation into this. They've shut down multiple other ones. I don't know why Destiny is doing this. This is the most pointless, like, dumb, like, reductive argument possible. I don't know why you would say that. How long has this been going on? There's news reports about Somali daycare fraud since 2015 onwards. Yeah, so you have all these articles. Everything here is wrong. And this is the Reddit tier, like, analysis that I think Destiny will sometimes hyperfixate on, which is, let's go ahead and let's talk about the inconsistency in the time based off of the sunlight rather than the 50 other articles, everybody else discussing this. The obvious a priori, now same application under a different name, had already been charged with hundreds of thousands of child care fraud by the FBI in 2017. Yeah, so here we go. This is in 2017. The Salma Child Care Center in Minneapolis lost its license in 2015. So this is the same place. I can't really read it because it's some other bullshit. But yeah, same application under a different name. Yeah, and so really, I don't know why Destiny would do this. Why would you even try to defend this? You could say that you got this part wrong, but then to go and say that the whole thing is fake is ridiculous. Destiny constantly interjects with idiotic takes in an attempt to try and stay relevant. I think that it's really interesting, the exact same location under the guy. Oh, here it is right here. Of Salma Child Care, who's been charged with hundreds of thousands of child care fraud by the FBI. What's more interesting is the individual there was charged with fraud for saying that they had 100 children. This was when it appears the child care center occupied the entire space. Now it looks like it appears half the space and is taken up by Abbey Kitchen, and is somehow the place is only licensed for 99 children. Here's the indictment right here. And so I don't know why Destiny were engaged in something that's like so blatantly dumb. Like, I don't know why. Why did daycares have tinfoil and spray paint over the walls and misspelled signs? Also, the High Quality Learning Center has been investigated 13 times. Yeah, how do you defend something like that? Like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? This is shocking to me that somebody would even do this. And then, why don't we do this?
Oh, that's what I said! Just import all of them! Oh, don't actually respond with substance to any argument I make because we're substanceless. But that's fine, it's true. Import every illegal immigrant.
Yes. Okay, well there we go. I hope he had a good time. And I'm sure all the Redditors are like, well, if you look at the graph, look at the graph, look at the graph, look at the graph. Oh my god. Well, one day they'll understand. One day, the thing is that right now they might not get it, they might not understand it, but you know, I think that over time they're gonna figure it out, bro. They're gonna figure it out. They're gonna see how it is, and it's gonna be sad.
free trial to the DollarWise budgeting app to likely go to jail for. So most of it comes through the child care. Hold on one second. The Feeding Our Future scandal, which was a COVID-19 related fraud scheme in the United States, which was the largest COVID-19 related fraud scheme in the United States between 2019 and 2021. Minneapolis-based nonprofit called Feeding Our Future exploited federal children nutrition program designed to feed vulnerable children during the pandemic, and it began what began with a $1.4 million in payments in 2019 exploded to $140.3 million by 2021, which is a 2,818% increase. At its peak, the organization listed 299 meal sites, claiming to have served 90 million meals in less than 2 years, averaging more than 120,000 meals per day. Federal prosecutors allege that only 3% of the funding actually went to food, with the remainder being funneled to conspirators. Insanity. That is the Minnesota fraud. This is a little detour. This is a little fun social media thing, but it is a little detour. So as of late 2025, 78 individuals have been indicted in the Feeding Our Future investigation, more than 50 pleading guilty already and 7 convicted at trial. Sentences have been severe. Abdias Shafir Faraz received 28 years in prison for his role, and the judge described his crimes as motivated by pure, unmitigated greed. Abdimajad, let me get some things going on here. Abdimajad Mohammed Nur was sentenced to 10 years and ordered to pay nearly $48 million in restitution. Mohammed Ismail received 12 years and has to pay more than $47 million in restitution. And the case has also been featured a brazen attempt to influence proceedings. Defendants tried to bribe a juror with $120,000 in cash, leading to additional convictions. And the individual who discovered the bribe or delivered the bribe has been sentenced to 10 years in prison. So, phantom children that food was given to, inflated hours, kickback schemes where providers paid families cash to enroll their children and then bill the state for services that were never delivered, and attendance fraud. Surveillance footage from 2015 showed parents checking children in and leaving within minutes. Leaving within minutes! It's crazy! So featured in this first clip, the Quality Learning Center, or Quality Learning Center, that video resonated national attention. Obviously, exemplifies the oversight of failures. It was licensed for 99 children, and the center has received $7.8 million in federal funding between 2019 and 2024, despite accumulating 95 violations. Violations! Ongoing! Already happened. This ranged from failure to keep up hazardous items away from children to missing records for 16 children. And the facility displayed a sign misspelling learning, and was largely inactive when visited. We will see that. There's a few arguments to be made that might be valid, that maybe this video itself is overblown, but the overall fraud scheme in Minnesota, not even close to overblown. Right. It is fucking crazy. So how the fraud work? One, exploiting low barriers of entry. So programs like the Housing Stabilization Services were deliberately designed with low barriers of entry and minimal record requirements to ensure vulnerable populations could access services quickly. So fraudsters are able to weaponize that, they're able to get in with that low barrier of entry, free first service vulnerabilities, self-reported data and weak verification, outdated technology, shell companies and money laundering, or sophisticated fraudsters created networks of shell companies, fake vendors, and complex money laundering schemes. In the Feeding Our Future case, specifically, defendants wired millions of dollars overseas, and it isn't just Somalia. Somalia is a big part of this, obviously, and that's become a big political thing. But also banks in China and Kenya, making asset recovery almost impossible. One defendant made 6 wire transfers totaling $1 million to a Chinese bank between February and July of 2021. And then there's been intimidation, there's been a lot of bullshit. The Minnesota Department of Education ignored wiring signs. They failed to act on red flags that were presented before the pandemic, before the alleged fraud began. So the Minnesota Department of Education just completely let it happen. They were given warnings before. Doesn't even matter. They didn't even look into that. They failed to exercise authority. The department didn't effectively use its power to hold Feeding Our America Future accountable for the program requirements, and they didn't monitor at all. They did not monitor at all. They did attempt to halt payments to the Feeding Our America in 2021, but the nonprofit sued in Ramsey County District Court, and a judge ruled that MDE couldn't withhold funds unless it first took other steps, such as reviewing receipts and verifying records, conditions the department chose not to impose.
Everyone wonders if earning a degree will really make a difference. It will at WGU. In fact, in the 2022 Harris Poll, 99% of employers said WGU grads meet or exceed expectations. Employers respect WGU degrees. Learn more at WGU.edu.
Employers
The department
respect
chose not to impose.
WGU
They couldn't
degrees.
stop this. And that was under Walz. And Governor Walz later said, don't pay them. And they said, you can't do that. You don't have that authority. So Governor Walz said, do not pay them. Let them sue me. But instead of actually doing what the court said, where the court said you need to get their receipts and show that there was bad things going on, and then you can stop paying. And they just decided not to do that. They just decided not to do that. In November 2025, a performance audit by the Office of the Legislative Auditor revealed widespread financial mismanagement in Governor Tim Walz's office, with 12 findings of non-compliance, including late vendor payments, inaccurate payroll, missing documentation, and failure to track state assets. And the audit concluded the office generally did not comply with criteria that was tested. This is its own office. This isn't Fox News. This isn't a YouTuber. This is the own Office of the Legislative Auditor, which is usually a bipartisan position. I don't know if it is in this case, but in general, okay, are both branches of the, let me see, are all branches in Minnesota State Gov Democrat? Because if it's all left, then they wouldn't be going after Tim Walz anyway. Narrow branches are Democrat right now, so the governor is Tim Walz. Lieutenant governor is DFL. Oh, affiliated with the National Democratic Party. Okay. Other statewide elected Secretary of State, Attorney General are also Democrats. Minnesota Senate is narrowly controlled by Democrats, and Minnesota House is not fully controlled by the Democrats. Republicans and Democrats were tied 67 to 67 in the 2024 election. So I highly doubt that this is an overly political attack from the Office of the Legislative Auditor. So the scope of fraud that we have, and confirmed by independent sources, this isn't some, shitting on like left in or anything like that from right-wing sources. Again, this is the independent, this is the auditor, the legislative auditor. Feeding Our Future, $250 million. House stabilization services and fraud, $104 million in program costs. The actual investigation fraud costs within that $104 million is currently under investigation. Autism fraud? Now there's autism fraud.
Oh, yeah.
You're frauding my autism? My autism! I own that shit! $14 million charged to date. And then the CCAP historical cases, $5 to $6 million documented in a 2019 report. But it is likely higher. The acting U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson stated in July 2025 that his office has pursued fraud totaling $500 million in state programs, with projections suggesting the figure could potentially double. Double! That's fucking crazy! Federal prosecutors suggested in December 2025, this month, that half or more of approximately $18 billion spent across 14 vulnerable programs since 2018 may have been stolen. Half of $18 billion. I write $1 million checks for taxes so that it can be funneled to a state, so that it can just go up in fraud. This is what I have always specifically said about taxes. I am happy to write that check. I am down to even pay more taxes if it's actually used effectively. That's the thing. I want it to go to people who need housing or need food programs. When it's being used and abused and funneled overseas, millions of dollars, proven independently, not a right-wing source, not anything like that. In California, if they connect enough signatures, they will have on a ballot proposal next year a one-time 5% wealth tax on billionaires, which will lead billionaires to likely to leave, let's be honest, because you don't just tax one time and repeat it over and over again. Or 1% a year with, I think, like 7.5% penalty for 5 years. Raising more taxes for what? Again, I'm potentially down for paying more taxes. Show me that it helps people and that it's not just fraud. Even if 90% is helping people and 10% is fraud, get the fraud under control and then tax us more. What are we doing? I can do a more effective use of my fucking money. My money's not going to fraud. That makes me sound like a conservative fucking cunt. That makes me sound like a libertarian prick. I'm as centrist as it gets, but the fact that I see people on Twitter right now defending this fraud because it's against a left-wing governor, that's disgusting. That shows how bad our politics are. That shows how just fucking locked in we are with ideologies. If this was Governor Abbott in Texas, I would be shitting on his door. Shitting on his door. I don't give a fuck who it is. Left-wing Governor Walz, right-wing Governor DeSantis, I don't give a fuck. If there's fraud and my tax money is going there, being funneled from the federal government to their state for those assistance programs, and it's going to fraud, fuck you! Caleb Hammer live know the problems that you're cherry picking. What am I cherry picking? What the fuck are you talking about? These are the reports that are being investigated and have been shown by their fucking legislative auditor in their own state government. Their own state government. And then even talking about what the federal government is doing here. Their own state government. Fraud everywhere. Fraud everywhere. Go after it. Okay? Fraud everywhere. But this is obviously the fraud in the topic right now. Billions of dollars.
Billions.
So cherry picking, what the fuck are you talking about? If you want to talk about another state that has some big fraud going on that isn't huge in the news right now, send it to me. But this is huge. And you're damn right I'm pissed. I don't give a fuck that a Democrat did it. I don't give a fucking Republican does it. My money that I write a check is being taken and being funneled places in fraud. I don't give a fuck who did it at shit. So absolutely. Absolutely. And chargeback is hard. So as of late 2025, federal investigators have recovered between $60 and $70 million, which is a fraction of losses, because it is impossible. Once these have gone to China, Kenya, where they often have for banks, it's impossible to get back. It's impossible to get back. Some defendants can go through bankruptcy. It's impossible to get back. We're fucked in terms of actually getting this money back that the taxpayers are paying. And it should not fucking matter that it is a left-wing governor. I already see people in chat. Who gives a fuck? This is your tax money being gone. Your tax money being gone. Who gives a fuck who the politics are of the person? What are we doing? This is when I call out the military disability stuff and then people come after me. I want more benefits for the poorest Americans, those that need help. I want more military disability to people that need military disability. We do not get to have nice things and provide more and pay for more of these things when there's fraud and people abusing systems. If you are an advocate for those services, you should be against fraud more than those who are not even in favor of these services. So what the fuck are we doing? If you're a full Governor Walz supporter, you should be against these services more than anyone, or the fraud more than anyone, that are hurting the services that you are advocating for, services that I advocate for. What are you doing? What I don't like about this, the vast majority of the Somalian immigrant population in Minnesota is now getting looped in with this. The vast majority haven't done anything. Vast majority. There's been organizations heavily in the Somali community that have done this, but it's still like less than 1% of the overall population. So I don't like that they've all been looped into it. That's where the politics gets all identity politics and bullshit and stupid. Focus on the fraud, focus on the numbers, focus on the absolute horribleness that has happened. Okay? That's where I am on this. What the fuck are we doing here? So yeah. That's where I stand on this. Let me keep holding this. Let's see. So, Governor Walz has implemented multiple fraud prevention measures, though, again, when the court said, well, you need to go in and get some paperwork so you can stop funding them, they didn't do it. When this started going out, an executive order was signed in September 25 that directed state agencies to intensify fraud prevention, detection, and combat efforts, leveraging new data shared law passes in the 2025 legislative session. So hopefully that helps a little bit. We'll fucking see. We'll fucking see. So overall, in general, across the state of Minnesota, before we get into the actual daycare thing, which is again a small penny compared to the overall thing. So there is confirmed $250 million in Feeding America Future that are potential losses approaching $1 billion across 14 programs. That is confirmed, that is fact, that is reality. That is not political. That is the Feeding Our Future. And then there are warning signs that were existing back in 2019, serious concerns ranged in 2015, but systemic reforms were not implemented. Multiple offenders, fraud wasn't confined to just one program, but exploited child assistance, housing services, autism therapy, and pandemic meal programs. And they all use very similar tactics. Limited recovery, yeah, we're probably not going to get it. And now, obviously, the FBI, Director Patel, is in on it and saying it's just the tip of the iceberg today. And that's where people want to get political, because now it's like left wing Tim Walz, right wing federal government with Patel being put in power from Trump, and now there's it was right versus left. Fuck that shit, guys. It's so fucking stupid. But as of today, 14 Medicaid programs remain under federal investigation. 78 individuals have been indicted in the Feeding Our Future scheme. 57 plus convictions across all the schemes. More than 1,300 reported cases of fraud by the DHS Inspector General that have been reviewed. FBI resources are now surged towards Minnesota for these investigations. Federal and state enforcement conducted door-to-door site visits. And then that leads us to this. So, Brandon, I'll let you take over. That's the baseline. That's the baseline of where we're at for the Minnesota fraud that has happened.
Yes. So, fast forward to Friday. Nick releases his video titled, "I investigated Minnesota's billion-dollar fraud scandal, alleging over $110 million stolen from taxpayer-funded Somali-run daycares / autism centers," in a 42-minute video that he uploaded on X and YouTube. On YouTube, it has over 2 million views, and on X, the impressions of it are over 130 million.
Yeah, I went crazy on X.
I mean, it is the biggest story I think that I've seen potentially all year on the side of X. At least in terms of X impressions, this is probably the most chat I've seen about a bunch of things. So there's just a couple clips here. I mean, this is the video. He chapters it out. You know the video. You can do the YouTube video. So he chapters it out. So you can probably skip through a couple. I mean, you can find where he's going to. Let's go to. I think the big ones. The big ones were the 34-minute mark. So this chapter right here. Let's watch this chapter. The Where Are the Children chapter. Is that it?
Oh,
yeah, right there. So we'll start here, and then we'll hop through a few of these and just kind of see what's going on, because it's crazy. It's crazy.
Houses not one, not two, but 3 child care centers, and is licensed to hold 102 children, and in fiscal year 2025 was paid $2.66 million by the state of Minnesota.
And this is the building right here. So this building alone made $2.6 million. Let's see if anybody's inside. Now we're inside of the building, where there's apparently 4 child care centers.
We met this lady and we followed her to the back of the building where daycare was supposed to be at.
So right here we have 2 child daycare centers. We have the Minnesota Child Care Center, and then we also have Luna. Between the two, $2.66 million. Hello. Hi. Yes. We would like to know.
Well, it says we're trying to figure out 102 children. Is that for this facility?
What is the name? Why is it?
It's from the state of Minnesota website.
The Burk is a helpful tool to have when someone's filming. You just
Oh, it is. Oh, it is.
That's a
Since they outlawed shiesties, I mean, I think that's the next closest thing.
Is that everywhere?
Yeah, a lot of places won't let you wear like a ski mask into stores anymore.
yeah, in the stores, yeah.
It says you have 102 children here in your child care.
Which child care Minnesota?
Minnesota Child Care right here. It's from the state of Minnesota's website. We're just wondering where the children are.
Where the children are?
Yeah, where are the children? It says you have 102 children here, and you got $2.66 million this year in funding, and $2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
And I don't think I'd answer either.
No,
if I was her.
No.
Okay, a couple points to bring up that might be fair, might not be fair. I don't know. it was over Christmas break. Maybe the kids are at home.
Well, when was this?
Now, public schools are off during Christmas. Daycares aren't necessarily, especially private daycares. These are receiving federal funding, so I don't know. But that is a potential.
Did he say when he filmed this though?
I don't think so.
I don't know when this was actually filmed.
Oh, we are
I just want to keep that in mind, though. We don't know that for a fact if it was over Christmas break. It's just like, if people have said that online, and I think it's fair to at least keep it in the back of our head. Filmed on the 16th, someone in the chat said. So, I don't think that would be Christmas break. Well, no. Well,
I don't
how
think
did the
It
calendar
depends on where
this
you are, because I know a lot of Christmas breaks start on like the 20th, and then you're like off through the new
Right.
year.
This year it likely started on the 20th. Yeah.
And then you're off through the new year.
Yep. Most likely, probably.
So, hello, we'd like to ask, where's the money going? Look at that. Shut us down. Where are the children at?
Okay. Fuck. I just devil's advocate. One reason I have a hard time with this, like, sure, that looks sus. I also wouldn't let anyone, no matter who they are, if someone shows up here and they're like, about anything, I would never let them in.
But no, that's not the issue. The issue is that none of these centers wanted to even have a conversation.
Which, I mean, I wouldn't either. I mean, I just have to play devil's advocate on this. Put yourself in her shoes, would you?
No, and especially, I
With
mean,
a camera that shows up, you don't know who the guy is.
a camera, and you know, you just work there, you know, and I don't know if language barrier. I mean, they seem to speak English just fine, but I'm just saying, like, that would make me panic.
Yeah, and then I have seen the counter to the Christmas break. They're like, did the Somali population celebrate Christmas? Well, I don't know. You know, oftentimes a lot of things follow the United States schedule anyway for just time off. And not only that, but I don't think it's only Somalis going to the daycare and only Somali daycare centers. Remember the entire fraud scheme of like $250 million to $1 billion in the Feeding America bullshit? That wasn't a Somali specific thing.
No children inside of this daycare center?
Love how Caleb wants to be the devil's advocate just not to get attacked by lunatics on Twitter. I don't give a fuck what they say. I think it is fair to bring up counter perspectives, though, to keep it in the back of your head. Whether or not you fully agree with that, I think it's healthy and good to just think of, like, what is a potential hole, right? What's a potential hole?
And look, this daycare center right here, no children inside of this daycare center.
16. If it is the 16. It was just one chatter who said it was the 16.
Over $2.6 million. We were just curious, where are the children at? Do you know where the children are at? Where are the children at in these daycare centers? How can these child care centers have no children?
At least she's honest.
There's $2.6 million inside these businesses.
She doesn't work there.
That were given by the government, but there's no children to be seen anywhere.
Well, no, she walks into the center. She walks.
It looks like a building with a lot of.
She walks into the unit though.
Oh.
People deserve to know where their taxes are going. If these companies, these daycare centers are making upwards of $2.6 million and there's no children to be seen anywhere, something fraudulent is happening. And that is not make you racist. It's not.
We know for a fact, throughout Minnesota and everything we went through, a lot of the federal government funds, especially through COVID, tons of fraud. Again, even if this fraud is correct, it's still pennies on the dollar compared to all the big fraud that actually happened. But I understand this is where the big political focus is now. With the Ilhan Omar, she's kind of fucking retarded, and you know, Trump and her go at each other, and she always plays into like the worst performative virtue signaling, like identity politics shit. I hate it. I don't understand. What is wrong with her? Just have political positioning. Why do you play into such stupid thing? No matter, I just hate anyone that does that. Why does she do that? So there's her from Minnesota, a lot of Somalis in Minnesota. So this is obviously where the political focus is, even though this isn't where the big dollars were, where the fraud is.
Homophobic. This is just the truth of what's happening here in Minnesota. If there's a bunch of white people doing the same thing, we'd be talking about the same issue. This is just fraud at unprecedented levels here inside of Minnesota. It's actually very concerning. Where are the children at inside of these buildings? Like nowhere we've seen. Millions of dollars are being sent into these daycare centers all across Minnesota, and there's not a child to be seen anywhere.
I need to know the date this was from. One chatter said this is.
A bunch of other, yeah,
It's maybe 16, but in this video, did you watch the full video by chance?
No.
Okay. He's going to multiple daycare centers. He's saying, I just want to check rates for my son.
Yeah.
Not a single person.
I haven't seen that yet. If
Not
we
a
can see that in
single
the clip.
This entire video is just like, it's segmented
Remember
out.
the chapter where he does that, where he asks,
I think it was towards the beginning.
instead
somewhere.
of showing up with a camera and being like, let me see the children.
I want to say like maybe 10 minutes in or so. Last time I watched.
So to be very clear,
before
here's
that.
the facts and statistics around this. We already know that a minimum $250 million in fraud was done through the Feeding American Children, Feeding Our Future. The daycare fraud, this is what we actually have. In 2015, 4 centers stole just over $1 million, and surveillance showed that 0 kids were being billed for 34 kids. The Deco Family Center, $3.5 million in fraud, 5-year sentence. Ace Daycare, $400,000 was stolen, and there's a 1-year federal prison sentence. And Salma Child Care, $1.4 million in fraud, a 2-year sentence there. So those are real things that happened between 2009 and 2019. And now there is this. And for what it's worth, I mean, I wouldn't doubt, just based on the history of those fraud cases that happened in Minnesota with real convictions and real fines. Real things. That's not political. That is something that happened. Some of these that he's reviewing, just from a statistical likelihood, probably have some fraud thing.
Here.
Now I want to see real investigations. I want to see them get warrants for video footage to see that no children are there, and I want to see the hammer come down on anyone who has wasted taxpayer money in every way whatsoever.
Can we go to drop link?
In every way whatsoever.
Pull the top one from drop link. No, there we go. Delete this.
A lot of these places that he's seen though have had like active safety violations and stuff, like actually reported.
Right.
100%.
Well, the next 2 clips we're going to watch are ones of him asking just for info about the daycare,
Okay.
rates about the daycare, and you'll see what kind of...
They are Muslim. They don't celebrate Christmas as a chatter. I've seen a lot of them online. The only the devil's advocate I would play for that is what a lot of things in school systems follow the American holiday schedule no matter what. You know, maybe not a Chinese restaurant. And so maybe the parents are home or in the schools are who even knows. And number 2, are all of these Muslim? I know we've hardcore focused on the Somali stuff. It sounded like what was that, Allah Akbar daycare at the beginning? It probably is, but then there was also Minnesota daycare. Is that 100% all Somalis? Like, I just...
And every single place that he went to, I think was Somali owned.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's watch this.
How are you? I would like to see if I can bring little Joey, my son little Joey here. Is there paperwork, or can I check out the daycare? No. Why can't I check out the daycare? Okay, but if I can't get paperwork or anything to submit my son little Joey to come in here to daycare? We'd really like to put Joey in this daycare. We've heard great things. No, I would like your business card actually.
Yeah, I think there's a language barrier here. 1 and 2. Again, I'm the biggest advocate for coming down on fraud, and I know they have safety violations and provable fraud in the low millions have been done on the daycares from 2009 to 2019, and convictions being done. $250 million for the feeding bullshit one. For this, I just have to play devil's advocate. 1, I think there's a language barrier in this video, and 2, I'm not responding to anyone if they show up with the camera.
I think he has the meta
He has the
glasses
meta
on.
glasses on.
Oh,
He doesn't,
okay.
they
Well,
don't-
that's
they
different.
don't have the camera
That's
crew.
different.
No, this isn't
Fair
the
point.
camera crew pressing them. This is
Okay, well that's a fair point then. There might be a language barrier, but that would be it then at this point.
I think there is a language barrier for this one, though. Hey, I'm not saying that there are kids that actually go to this daycare. Who knows? But yeah, she does seem to be.
Now, if you're working at a daycare where children are, where there might be my child, please be able to speak English.
Well, unless the
Is something I would say.
population.
Unless it's only Somali, but even still, like, come on, what are we doing?
Right.
Someone just called me another Hassan. I just called out all the fraud. What? I guarantee you, me and Hassan completely disagree on this. Hassan's been coming after this like crazy, calling this like bullshit and stuff. What are we talking about? I'm not even calling this bullshit. I'm saying that they need to be investigated heavily, and the hammer needs to come down incredibly hard on anyone that's been hitting fraud. But one thing I will never do is just fall into a narrative. I will always ask questions, try to see if you actually think there is fraud here, which there very well might be, and I might agree with, you know the best way to prove it? Try to poke every fucking hole in the story. And if you can't poke a hole in the story, then you got them. So that's what I do for everything. That's what I do for everything. I poke the. Have you seen me do financial audit? I try to poke the hole in everything, because that's the only way to get the truth in the end. So what the fuck are you talking about, Hassan? Are you a fucking retard? I don't think you see the fuck. That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard. Chatter, ban yourself from life. That is retarded. You're retarded.
Okay, can I speak to somebody? Where are the children at? Are there children here today?
No.
No children.
Yes.
Why are there no children?
There are two at school.
Would my son, little Joey, have friends to play with here? No. No friends for little Joey.
Yes.
Dang it. Well, have a great rest of your day. So, little Joey.
Yeah, that's weird. That's sus 100%.
Again, I think that this was language barrier.
Potentially, she was answering that like the next round come at 2. That's where I'm like, oh, why are they coming at 2? That's not when like elementary school ends and then you go into.
I don't know. Kids' schedules are so weird now. It's like sometimes they get out of they have like
But a
half
whole
days on
group
random
comes
days.
at 2? I don't know. That's where I want an actual. I don't trust their state investigation at this point, just based on how much fraud has just been allowed to go on, and they didn't even try to go get paperwork in the feeding one. I need the federal government to investigate the fuck out of that place specifically.
Would not be accepted to that daycare. Joey's still looking for daycare.
And because little Joey couldn't get into a daycare, we went to an autism center, as they have been popping up everywhere.
In the autism center, I don't know about the specific center they go to, but it is confirmed fraud that has happened in autism centers in Minnesota.
The rise of autism has occurred here in Minnesota because of the government funds that they're receiving. I tried to check my son Joey into an autism center.
When we go to a lot of these daycare centers, we're trying to find a spot for our little boy Joey, but we thought maybe we could check him in the autism center. Because none of the daycare centers are open. Yeah, and how many kids do you guys have at this autism center? Like more than 5? Probably, so you don't know.
Why can't they answer any questions? Any of them? This one's not a language barrier.
Yeah, this one is. I think he knows what the meta glasses are.
Yeah, you do see it blinking, and
Right.
I think if you cover the blinking light, it won't record.
Right.
I know. What do you guys think about like the fraud that's been labeled on the autism centers here? What do you guys do think about the fraud, or how come the autism centers are popping up?
What are you a news reporter?
My name's Nick. We're doing a little documentary trying to find little Joey a spot to put himself in one of these centers here, because there's the fraud. Yeah, because we want to make sure we're going to legit business if we're going to bring our little boy Joey here.
This is not a Joey spot.
What do you mean by that?
This is not a Joey spot?
Ooh, buddy,
This is not a Joey spot?
That is not what you wanted to say. Patel, I have your first person to look at.
This is not a Joey spot?
This is your first location to do a nice little investigation, and this is not a Joey spot. Is fucking crazy.
I want that on the soundboard. This is not a Joey spot.
Oh, okay.
Not in the
Thank
lobby?
you. So once again, little Joey, he can't even go to daycare, and now they won't even accept him if he has autism.
And again, no kids. Couldn't tell you how many kids they serve. I know the answer. It's 0.
Is there another one? Or was that the? That was definitely more
And then
damning. The second one.
let's go back to the YouTube video. Let's go to the 26-minute mark where they do the healthcare, and then we can probably get into some of the reactions. 26 minutes. Yeah.
14 Somali-owned home healthcare companies in the same building.
14 of the same healthcare companies in one
This
building.
one is all Somali.
14 home healthcare companies with different names in the same building.
How bad has Tim Walz managed the budget here inside of Minnesota?
So, the last...
Well, we already know for a fact they have not gone off their fraud the way they're supposed to and put in actual safety rails. And they have not actually done what is necessary to protect taxpayer money. And it's disgusting that the government doesn't care.
Biennium, we had an $18 billion surplus. This biennium, we have a $6 billion deficit. That's a $24 billion.
And yes, that's worth calling out. I will say a lot of states had big surpluses through the COVID years through extra assistance and everything, and a lot of states all those go away. So that's not going to be hyper unique, but that is mismanagement. You should, though, as a governor, as a state legislator, be like, oh, we got less money coming in. Okay, we got to readjust.
Right.
So it's still on them. I'm not excusing it, but
Dollar swing in one biennium. How in the world can you burn through $24 billion in 2 years? This is how, right here. This is a huge part of it.
And so would you say a lot of that is fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Absolutely. I would say better than 90% of it is.
I think the total estimated fraud, even on the more aggressive end, is 19 billion across the, no, 8 billion across the board of the entire state of Minnesota. So, but even still, I mean, 8 billion going into what was it, 24 billion? That's huge. Again, that's since 2009 though, but that's still huge. That takes a shit ton away. Yeah, 6 billion. Someone surprised in chat. Yeah, but the vast majority is not the daycare stuff or the autism stuff. Those are like little drops in the bucket, but they're still important because you should call out fraud anywhere.
Absolute outright fraud.
And a large percentage of this fraud is from these healthcare companies that are charging the state millions of dollars while they actually aren't providing anything. In fact, the FBI just did a raid a few days ago on a building similar to the one we were about to enter. Inside of this building, there were 14 of nearly the exact same businesses offering the exact same services.
Right here, you have a list of all of the healthcare companies. Loads of them right here. We want healthcare. Yes, we'd like to see healthcare here. Why can't I get healthcare here? Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespassing, security armed.
Yeah, this looks like a great healthcare.
This is the strangest place I've ever been to get healthcare. Just a bunch of different places. Healthcare here, healthcare right here. Another healthcare company right here. There are 3 healthcare companies inside of this building right here in this room of 7C. Now we have another Helping Hands, Home Care LLC, another healthcare company. Try to help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building. We have so many options. Who can we talk about getting the best healthcare? No.
Well, he has a camera this time.
We will not get any healthcare here. David, this is one of the stranger places I've ever been. Literally, healthcare every door you go to, yet nobody will give you a rate. How much money do you think funneled through this building?
Every year, I would say 50 to 60 million at least.
And finally, we were accepted into one of the daycare centers, and they actually took down information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
I received a complaint that television restricted were in this building, harassing the individuals who stayed here.
Oh, we're checking out the race.
And at the same time, police are driving right
They're driving behind us. They're driving.
Wow.
And I know from listening to a VOD once, you guys can hear it. There it goes.
Radio show wasn't the soundboard.
It was not.
Okay.
Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because of Somali providers that everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay. So
he's here with some kind of like propaganda.
They should propaganda. No, there've been 100%. No, it's not propaganda. There have been fraud cases, and this looks like one of the sus places where fraud was just raided, and fraud has been happening. So I don't think propaganda. It's certainly technically harassment, probably, but I don't think it's propaganda.
But I also don't feel like this is harassment.
I think showing up on property you don't own though with the camera.
We didn't see if he was asked to leave the premises, and he chose not, and he stayed. Then I understand if you want to, at that point, but if
they
he wasn't
his information just to call the cops. They're like, here, give us your number, give us your info, and then immediately call the cops.
Did they or did another unit?
I don't know.
That's pretty smart if they did that, like
I mean,
real time.
It does kind of seem like a play. It does seem like a play.
Yeah.
Production question real quick.
What's up?
Mika just texted me. We went live on the main channel. I don't see it.
No.
I don't see it. Mika, what the fuck are you talking about? Mika, you watching? What are you on about? Oh, then he said, oops, sorry. Got a notification for something 11 days ago. Right. Thanks, Mika.
Stupid.
11 days behind. Wait, Helen?
Mika.
No, where's Helen Keller? Helen Keller, this is your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Clip this, send it to Helen Keller.
The question being,
Caleb coping so hard to fucking defend this blatant bullshit. Am I defending it? Yeah, no. Am I
I think
defending
you're
it?
getting rage baited.
I might be getting rage baited for him, but I'm not defending it. I've called out all the fraud. I will always try to seek the truth. If something is technically trespassing, I will call that out as it's being trespassing, whether or not I agree with the fraud. Well, are you retarded? No retards allowed! New rule!
Should we put a sign up?
Yes!
Like, there are no trespassing.
So they,
sign.
Dumbass.
they're kicked out of this place. That's basically the end of this. The last portion that I want to pull us back to is the infamous Leering Center.
Oh.
The Leering Center
that's
is
the big one.
let's go to 16 minutes and about 15 seconds.
And the Leering Center, to be completely,
Right about
you know,
that.
the Leering Center specifically has had multiple complaints and not complaints. Violations, like actual violations for safety concerns, specifically.
So this is the infamous Leering Center or Learning Center that was spelled Leering because they spelled wrong because
It happens in basketball.
whoever did the graphic is retarded.
I said no retards allowed.
Of children playing outside. $5 million. Looking at past 2
in 2 years. 5.9 million they received in 2 years. That facility right there.
And now we have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now. From this daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells
That's
quality.
like saying you're trespassing at
Learning
Walmart. Walmart kicks people all the time out for trespassing when they're filming.
All the time.
I mean, do you not understand what I'm saying?
All the time.
I'm not defending the location. But if trespassing is trespassing, it is trespassing, regardless if you
Private
if this guy's
property is
doing.
private property.
What are you talking about?
Yes.
Again, I said no retards allowed. This is what happens with ideology. Get the fuck out of your ideology. Reality's reality. Shut the fuck up. Don't be a dumbass.
You're on the outside of their sign. That's how blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
So this is Quality Leering Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center. They said they spelled learning wrong.
I don't know ice here, man. I'm literally a YouTuber.
What is wrong with her?
Man, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
Okay, and this is where I fucking. Oh, this is where I lose it.
Oh, wow.
There is objectively fraud that has been happening since minimum 2009 with these social programs. People are literally behind bars. Dozens of people are behind bars. Money has been tracked. Paperwork is official.
Can we get the donut open up on the side?
And then we have to deal with people like her that, like, okay, maybe this guy is, going a little hard. Maybe he's putting too much weight on the daycare centers versus the Feeding America.
Don't open up!
And then, but then we have ladies like her. That's not devil's advocate. She's a fucking Karen dumbass piece of shit that is not allowing us to protect our actual social safeties. There's no fucking sacred cows. We have to be able to call out shit, lady. You're a dumbass, bitch.
Place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up!
and getting.
And they're never able to argue. People like her are never able to actually, when confronted with something, they're never.
She's on a loop.
Like, maybe, I don't know. Again, someone's gonna think I'm defending it. Let me play devil's advocate again. Maybe this place specifically is legit, even though they can't spell. Maybe this place is legit and all the other ones are fraud. Maybe this place is legit. But lady, have a response. You just say their eyes don't open up. You're retarded. Oh, yeah.
Does she work there, or is she just hanging out in the parking lot?
No, she saw them approach the building.
Oh my god.
Wait, this is their security. This is the security guard.
They call them the Karen.
That's her alarm system.
Yeah.
The siren.
$1 million over the $4 million in the last 2 years.
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in favor?
People like her, by the way, are why most of the problems we have right now are the problems we have right now.
Is she septum
Social
piercing with no
problems.
septum piercing?
Oh,
No,
I
she's
think
worse.
I think it fell out.
She's beyond worse.
Yeah.
Are you in favor?
She's the one that actually creates actual political results.
Don't open up!
That
Go away!
You know
You're
what?
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of?
It's not shame on for asking questions. Listen, again, if they break in, shame on them. If they walk in there, they're filming, they're asked to leave, and it's private property, shame on them. Just going up, calling out that they can't spell, and showing that, hey, there's a lot of money spent here, shame on them? No. Shame on you, you dumb bitch. This is why we can't have nice things. Because you're not willing to question anything. You're not willing to accept reality that has happened in minimum $250 million proven fraud in the state of Minnesota.
I think they do have security with them for this video. Like they did bring security, they hired security. I think the security is wearing face masks. So obviously to protect
was that the shiesties behind them in the other
to
one?
protect their identity. But I think she's seeing the face mask and thinking it's an ice raid.
Okay, and
I don't think
honestly, but even
well,
still, no,
I
that's
like a little twink with the
no,
camera.
but that's such a menacing look.
It
so
is a menacing
I'm
look.
gonna say on Nick.
Yeah.
Showing up with people in shiesties, you have control of this video. Blur their faces and post. You do not need to. It looks really intimidating.
No, that's true.
No.
Well,
It's intimidating.
No,
but
because
you know
then
what? We can't listen to Brandon because he fucking owns a shiesty.
Well, also, but
So,
hold on, for what it's worth though, because she's filming herself.
Yes.
She's not gonna blur them.
No. That's the issue.
But even still,
I would do security from a distance.
I don't, unless they knew that she was going to be here, and that's why they have them masked.
No, I get it. Listen, I would be intimidated if people with masks showed up.
Yes.
And I would also want to wear a mask if I was them.
Yes.
Because you're going to have a random Karen who's going to cancel you online.
So what's Nick and the other guy's excuse? A journalist and what? Come on.
Huh?
The
For what?
security guy showing up, like them wearing a shiesty, that's weird.
And so, because they're probably...
They're protecting their privacy.
We have a security guy here, and he's not willing to be on camera for a reason.
They protect their privacy.
Does Nick have full-time security everywhere he goes?
No, but he started funding for it after this video went
Well,
viral.
No, they literally have
I agree
contracted
that
a private company for this.
Yeah.
And they're not willing to be on camera, just like our private company that does us.
Right. No, I understand that, but this is her. I'm just saying. Do I agree with her reaction? No. Like I don't agree. Obviously, they're just trying to like knock on a door or whatever. But I'm just saying, showing up with guys with shiesties is shiesty. That's all.
I would be intimidated. I get it, but I would also understand why they want to wear it as well at the same time.
Yeah, the exact security company he uses is Blackline. That is the name of the security company. And they do deal with, it says full-time and episodes of private security, faith-based schools, churches, high net worth individuals, families, corporate executives, teams, politicians, former U.S. Special Operations Forces, elite tier law enforcement. I get why they do not want to show their faces.
But
That's
again,
a massive
why
safety.
would they?
Again,
it's
it's privacy.
for what Nick is doing. You don't need guys with shiesties.
No,
What Nick will be doing in the future because of this video, yes, you will want guys with shiesties.
I'm gonna push back on that because he went to an Antifa rally in Portland, and the guy was threatening to. They were threatening to kill him until DHS officers pointed a laser onto the guys that were threatening to kill him.
Well, for the intention,
videos with ICE.
If I was Nick, for the intention of the video to get the truth, I would try to hire a security company that is willing to be on camera though, so they don't look intimidating when they pull up.
I think a lot of these.
I understand why they're wearing the face mask, but you also get to choose who you hire.
Yeah, you do get to choose who you hire, and it doesn't have to be a shiesty. Hire guys that are gonna wear some kind of other like disguise. You know, get some guys who know how to do makeup, and we'll do a prosthetic like nose and whatever.
Yeah.
It's just the shiesty's super off-putting.
I don't know. I think Nick is super well known. He's been facing death threats because things have
No, I
gotten
get
more
that.
political. And listen, if these guys aren't wearing masks and this video does the numbers that it does on X,
No, I
150
understand
million
why
views
they're
like
wearing
that, that is
masks. I get
scary.
it. I understand why they're wearing
It's scary
masks.
for the people that are actually in that situation.
Yeah, and it's scary for the officers that are in that situation.
Yeah, it's scary for all of them. It's unproductive.
Right.
Yes.
It's unproductive. It really is. It's not helping.
$0.9 million going illegally.
fraudulently to this business that has quality learning center but can't even spell learning right on the door.
Don't open up!
She has no rebuttal.
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are, you don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up, it's ICE!
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children in here at this building, but there's no one here. This is the child daycare center.
99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CK.
And this is what sucks about ideology, because when she hears this, what she should do if she is just a normal, decent human being that's willing to be open-minded, is be like, oh, that's a little weird. I wonder if something's going on. She doesn't need to freak out and figure, oh, you're right. All of a sudden, everything's a big scam. Oh, that is a little weird. But instead, she falls back into her ideology, and nothing can be a scam, nothing can question, nothing with the Somali population. There's nothing weird. All government funding is perfect. There's no issues whatsoever. You can't question your worldview. And that's what fucking sucks about ideology. And that's what fucking sucks. And again, I know it was like 2 people in chat. But because I tried to poke holes to see if maybe there's any questions, I immediately challenged that person's ideology. So all of a sudden, I'm like a communist. It's like, ideology has fucked society. I hate it. I hate it.
Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children? What's the state of Minnesota? Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States. Get rid of all the fraud. Have you ever seen children at that daycare center right there? Look. Yeah, it's right there. It says the child, you've never seen daycare. We're going to educate you on something. So what do you think about this daycare center? They spelled learning wrong. They've received over $1.9 million this year alone, and they're supposed to have 99 children here.
I don't see it.
Have you ever seen any children here?
None, not at all.
See, that's sketchy, and that is a source. And the first thing, besides that one guy that said, your kid doesn't belong here or whatever, like Noah's doesn't belong here. What did he say? Whatever name?
Little Joey doesn't belong here?
Yeah.
Oh, this place isn't for little Joey.
Yeah, that was hyper sketchy, and now a real world witness that lives in the area and stuff. That is sketchy. That is now. I mean, the Karen's obnoxious. Maybe the person didn't understand what he was saying in the first clip. These two are legitimately sketchy things.
This year they got 1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 99 children. We just want to know where are the kids.
Right.
Where are the children?
I don't see them. I've been here since 2017. I haven't seen anybody like that. I don't know.
And so you've never seen a child here for 8 years?
Nope, not at all.
Crazy.
And how does that make you feel knowing that this place is receiving $1.9 million?
Disgusting. I mean, what the hell? They stealing the money. That's a federal grant too. That's
kind of fucked. That's probably my federal taxes for this year. I don't know, part of my federal taxes this year, and it literally went to someone that's probably just smuggling it to overseas. Yeah.
Don't open up!
Or it's, you know what? A lot of this might, thank you.
Is that on the soundboard now? Wait, one more time.
Yeah.
Don't open up!
The thing is, some of this money is just staying here. That's the other thing. It's people that are living high off of this money that should be, to your point, going to folks and services and programs for people that need this.
Yeah.
And there's people that are, spending all kinds of money on nice trips and, vacations and, nice houses and cars and all these things.
Fucked.
It's not okay. And I'm happy that Nick is doing this. I mean, yes, it's small fish in comparison to the other programs.
But it's still important to
you have to start somewhere, and if this is the thread that can unravel more, I think it's great that he's pulling on it.
They get caught, but that's a federal offense. I know, I said he lied.
And do you think Tim Walz should go to jail for all the fraud that he's enabled here in his state?
Ooh, that's a big question. They certainly failed to implement some safeguards, and they failed to go after some of the paperwork that the court said they had to in order to take away funding. Did he specifically do? Well, actually, it's interesting because we do have the quote from Tim Walz from a year or two ago where he said, "Don't give them money anymore, sue me." I understand wanting to pin it on the guy at the top. I mean, it's just bureaucracy. It's the failure of bureaucracy. The government is not effective with tax dollars, especially the United States government. It's not even
No,
close.
it's so bloated, and there's too many people. There's a real lack of accountability.
Oh,
and
huge lack.
It's basically a money laundering system, you know.
But if he knew about it, allowed it, and he participated in it anyway, then yes. The answer would be yes.
I
That's
mean,
gonna be
I
interesting
think
to see.
once you're in politics, you are participating, because if it's not directly you, it's some donor saying, hey, you know, there's this, you know, I'm trying to get this contract, could you make this happen? You know, there's so much give and take.
Yeah.
I think they're all involved.
Again, at this point, we have 4 daycares that stole upwards of, I think, $6 million confirmed from 2019 to 2019. And that's just those that were investigated and confirmed. And we know there are so many out there that had not even been investigated. And I think that's what Nick is trying to do. Is like he's just like, please investigate, right?
Right.
Please just investigate.
Well, I think that's what's so interesting about this is that they've been talking about it online all week, but like legacy media isn't going out and doing things like this anymore. Like, you know, you're not seeing Fox or CNN or MSNBC or anybody like that doing field journalism to this scale. Like, it really has been left to a lot of independent creators.
It is, yeah.
Like, they talk about it on a high level, but no one is in the streets going to these businesses. This is the first time that I think we've seen someone that is truly going to
They
these
probably just
businesses.
reach out for email and that's it.
Yeah, they send an email and then...
But they probably also have higher risk of getting sued.
Without a doubt. But
Well, and when you're talking about big media, they also have things that they can't talk about. They have talking points and they have no talking points, right? So, I mean, something like this could fall under like, ooh, we're not gonna touch that.
So CBS did do an investigation in this specifically, and shows that the centers that were included in this video have been inspected within the last 6 months, and they found dozens of citations for safety and cleaning violations, but no recorded evidence of fraud. CBS says. Again, before chat freaks out, not agreeing with that or disagreeing with that. This is what CBS says. The state's response, specifically in Minnesota, the Commissioner Brown said, none of those, quote, none of those investigations have uncovered findings of fraud. The state's response said children were present during official inspections in the prior 6 months. And 2 of the 7 centers were already closed, says the state.
Oh.
But why were they receiving that funding then? If that's in the most recent annual funding, I guess we'll need to see in the 2025s. That's kind of fucking stupid, I'll be honest. But what's not is actually getting a checking account that gives you free money. Free money! We like free money! You can get up to $350 in bonus cash right now when you sign up for the checking account that I use, Chime. Also, it makes your savings grow at a 3.5 APY interest rate. Guys, you can watch Financial Audit and get free money at the same time. Who would have thought? That's incredible. Check it out, link in the description below. Sign up for Chime, get that $350 right now in your checking account. So, Leering Center has received $7.8 million in funding since 2019, by the way. 95 violations. How is 95 violations not just shut down?
Yeah.
Like even alone. 2-year conditional lease in 2022. Well, that would have been ended. Oh, it's... Wait, closed this year? No, closed this month. What the fuck? Hold on. Let me check the source on that.
Well, Leering Center, there's a video that came.
So Fox 9, their local Fox 9 says... Oh, I don't need local Minnesota weather. I really don't. Right. Control F is how you fucking search for shit, right?
Command F.
No, Command F, yeah.
Yeah.
It's opening up their weather report when I do that.
New conspiracy.
What the fuck?
You think they're tapped into the stream right now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see where they reported that it was closed. And I know a lot of the politics is involved with like ICE and immigration and blah 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 blah. But I'm mostly just interested in fraud. And if a big group of people are doing it, it is bad. For sure. Fuck. Okay, there's another source for the closing. Let me see this. This is from Yahoo News. I'll send it in chat if it has it. And JD Vance was praising this on Twitter. We'll get into some of the reactions in a second, including my favorite on Reddit. You guys are excited to see. sign for extreme left extremism. You know we don't like any extremism here.
You don't. I sure do.
You like extremism?
I do.
What?
I love polarizing.
What, for entertainment?
No, it's kind of, I guess.
I mean, it's entertaining. I just don't like it in terms of like the real world impact.
I don't know. I like a little more black and white. Gray is boring to me. You know, I like some real clear points of view. So yeah, sometimes I like to dabble in extremism on both sides. It's fun. You should try it sometime.
Ooh! Minnesota House Republicans on Monday told reporters that allegations of fraud in Minnesota's daycare program, including the Quality Learning Center, had already come up at a hearing of the GOP-led fraud prevention and state agency oversight earlier this year. Earlier this year? That's interesting. I can't find where it says it's already closed.
And they did what about it, is my question. So somebody brought it up,
Yeah.
allegedly. I mean, I'm sure there's a record. And what did you do about it? You did nothing?
Shit.
Yeah.
Not shit.
That's such a cop-out answer.
Yeah. But again, it's a $9 billion federal estimate that has been fraud in Minnesota. But they'll still have to prove that specifically. They're estimating $9 billion. They got to prove that. We've proven close between $250 and $500 million has been proven since 2019 in overall fraud. Again, mostly the feeding thing. Lots of phantom children with that. So phantom children is very much in this niche.
Mm-hmm.
They did that for the feeding one, so it's not crazy to think that it would be done here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's warnings that were done. Official warnings that were done. 2019, a legislative auditor warned programs are unacceptably vulnerable. 2013, a whistleblower identified 60-plus fraud cases, estimating $100 million in losses. 2015, major raids proved surveillance necessary to prosecute. 2015. 2018, Fox 9, investigation brought national attention. 2019, auditor found DHS controls insufficient to prevent, detect, and investigate fraud. 2019, that's a couple years ago. They said there was not enough not enough resources, not enough being done to prevent fraud. 2024, Feeding Our Future audit found MDE inadequate oversight. Crazy. In the current federal investigation, 14 Medicaid programs are under investigation. 55 open CCAP investigations by the state alone. FBI has surged resources towards Minnesota before the viral video went out. DHS/ICE is conducting door-to-door raids. No arrests have been announced yet, though. Of this current, level. And Patel says it's just the tip of the iceberg. And that's where, unfortunately, it gets ideological. Once the Trump administration gets involved, now if anyone's opposed to the Trump administration, all of a sudden that means that this is invalid and there's no fraud.
Right.
That's what I hate about this. Again, if the Trump administration went and we saw similar levels of fraud for the same thing done Abbott here in Texas, all those same people would cheer for it. Mm-hmm. That's why ideology just fucks us. We have to be objective. There people are already behind bars for fraud in Minnesota. This is not a political thing. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. I opened this with, I didn't want to focus on Somali because I feel bad and I just don't want it to get to that point.
Go ahead.
But 89% of the defendants across major fraud schemes that have been actually prosecuted have been Somali.
Don't open it! Yikes.
Oh, fuck, come on, guys.
Don't open up!
You're fucking your community here.
I have an insensitive question. Do we think that the bird chirps in the Somali household, or no?
I think
yes.
No, because it's a straw house.
Do we have any Somali because what?
This is a straw house.
Oh, okay. But can we ask, do we have any Somalis in the chat? And does the bird chirp in your house? I just want to know. It's just a question. It's a question. I mean, maybe.
We should run our own investigation.
Listen,
Actually,
that's a fact now, so I'm not gonna.
So we kind of have our own case study here at Hammer Media with Robert. Robert.
Is he Somali?
No, but he is not
He's
from.
Zimbabwean.
He is.
Yeah, he was born in Zimbabwe.
Right.
He's been here
But
since I think 5 or 6.
yeah, and you said the bird chirped in his house.
Well,
So-
here's the thing that I think could be a valid argument, because I'm going to play the gray for a moment.
Yeah.
People on the right now are pretty much like anti all third world developed nations immigration. And people on the left are like, please, everyone come. The more the third world, the better. Because we're just so divided that you have to be anti what the other side is, no matter what. The reality is,
right.
Assimilation is required, regardless of where anyone comes from. Assimilation is required. All immigrants through the 20th century, we had a lot of immigration in the 20th century, but it was assimilation. Yeah, people propped up communities, there were Irish communities, Italian communities, but there was assimilation into our culture. If you come from a culture, and this is where I'm about to be called racist and fascist, if you come from a culture that is South Somalia specifically, Somaliland in the north actually is not absolutely half bad, and they want to be an independent country, but the world just refuses to recognize it. But the eastern and southeastern part of Somalia,
it's just different parts of the world.
It is like everything is just, there's no businesses, there's no government, everything is just illegal, like, it's just because nothing is right. And then if you take that culture that someone is raised in, and you don't assimilate to the new culture you come to, you can't be surprised when 90% of those who have been prosecuted for this fraud are that culture. That is not a racist thing to say. That is a statistic we know from the people that have been prosecuted in these Minnesota fraud cases. That is it. It is important to assimilate. If I go to China, it is important for me to assimilate to China. That is not China being racist. So.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know I'm about to be called a fascist on, well, probably Reddit for that, but we don't care about that one. But Twitter, for that, it's like, assimilation's important. I am more pro-immigration than most people on the right are, but I am pro-assimilation, unlike anyone than people on the left are. I'm also not pro-open borders for anyone and everyone. And like, let's just have the worst, the least developed of the least developed here over the more developed. Like, that doesn't make any sense either. Look at the United Kingdom. They're having what's the term? Essentially all the educated people that become educated in that country, a brain drain. They're all leaving, and people are coming in from less developed areas, typically don't have that education and skills, and that's why their economy's complete shit. That is not a racist thing to just absolutely, that is an objective reality thing. So, I'm good with people coming here legally. You gotta assimilate. You can't just continue a culture of that culture.
No, and there's the people that are, they're like, oh, I escaped for X, Y, and Z, and then they come here and immediately do what they were doing in X, Y, and Z, and it's like,
And again, I don't think the vast majority of Somalians are doing that. I want to be clear. But the fact that of the fraud cases that are that have been not only convicted but prosecuted in Minnesota, 90% are Somalian. That's just a fact and statistic and not racist. It's not. I'm sorry. It ain't.
Let's hop into some reactions.
I want to share this one first before you do. This screenshot from Reddit.
Oh, is this one you've been waiting for?
It just shows how retarded extremist corners are on the internet are. Here is a drop link for me specifically. Oh, by the way, also, if you post this in r/Minnesota, anything about this story, they ban you.
No.
Yeah.
Auto banned?
Basically. But look at this. Here, just open the screenshot. Anything posted on Reddit, which is far left, there's normal left, and not on Reddit. Reddit is a far left hive mind of insanity and crazy. You post anything on r/politics about Minnesota, anything, factual, political, doesn't matter. You post anything, all downvoted immediately. Because if it goes against the narrative of all government funding is good, or a community may have done an issue, if it goes against the narrative that conflicts with your ideology, you have to shit on it. You can't accept the reality. And that is what I hate about extremism. And Reddit is the fucking hive mind place for that on the left, for sure. It's fucking horrible. Look at this is just insane. Not a single upvote. They can't. They're not willing to challenge their worldview.
It's self-censored.
If you're not willing to challenge your worldview, you're an extremist.
It's crazy.
It's fucking crazy. I'm banned in r/Minnesota if you bring it out.
I kind of want to get banned in there now. It sounds
Yeah.
like fun. It sounds like a fun club to be in, right?
It's crazy. You have to be able to challenge your worldview. All right, let's get into the other ones that were already.
Yeah, let's go. I have a couple highlighted. These are kind of the main ones from people that are going back and forth. Let's start with this one right here. So, Hassan, after the video went live, tweeted, I don't know what kind of fraud Somalis in daycares are doing, but I think it's a separate crime to try and storm with a camera into a daycare with kids in it.
Okay, there were no kids, but it actually might be trespassing. But either way, that's not what matters in this conversation. Why are we dismissing the entire fraud thing? Because again, Hassan wants more government funding to these programs.
Yes.
If that is your position to advocate for, then you need to be more critical of fraud than any other position. Because it protects those programs. Why are we just brushing it off and then criticizing the YouTuber? What is happening?
Well, Nick
and they went back and forth all day, I saw.
They did. Nick responded with, people like this commie literally shock their dogs and complain about America 24/7, and when someone actually leaves their room to do something, wait for it, they defend the criminals.
Oh, now it's just a dunk fest.
Yeah, now
the real criticism specifically is Hassan, you shouldn't brush off actual fraud, even if it, conflicts with ideology. That's the actual. But I understand they're trying to dunk back and forth. I've been in that game.
Yeah, but you also shouldn't allegedly shock your dogs. No.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. Also,
but it also has nothing to do with
fuck off
this.
and true. So.
Yeah.
Let's pull the bottom one real quick also, because this was Tyler Oliveira, another
friend of the show.
And he does this.
Friend of the show?
Is he?
I don't know. Is he? I don't know.
No, he's the YouTuber that didn't hire me.
I know.
Made me go into YouTube.
He actually is the reason for the
friend
show.
of the show.
He's now a friend of the show. He is literally now a friend of the
Have
show.
you talked to him?
No, but I did talk to the guy that got hired in Center.
Oh.
Aren't you glad that happened though?
Yeah,
like
everything
overall,
happens for. He was also doing very different content back then. It was like Mr. Beast type content.
It was. I remember his old stuff. So, we can probably go to...
He's retweeting this on.
Yeah, so let's click into the tweet real quick that he... Yep. So this is Hassan once again responding to Nick's original tweet where he said that he was a commie. And Hassan said, I traveled around the world and went to numerous protests, but since I wasn't trying to storm childcare facilities with a camera crew, screaming, show me the children, it doesn't count. There's a proper way to conduct a thorough investigation, and you botched it for clickbait.
Okay, well, pause on this, first of all. Because, I mean, again, the trespassing, okay, fine. Maybe that might be real. We're brushing off the main point that there's literally convicted fraud already. There's people that are being prosecuted already. Just because that goes against the worldview, all of a sudden we can't think about it, we have to brush it off. There have actual been proper investigations. Those have people behind bars. Those proper investigations have people being prosecuted. And I think what someone like Nick is trying to call out is that there's not being proper investigation into these places.
It's just going to show.
And when reports have popped up, including a report earlier this year that had the Leering Center in it, no one went after them.
No.
And I think that's what's trying to be called out. So let's stop with this fucking stupid back and forth trying to dunk on each other's shit. Hassan,
we can back one.
Hassan, you're a pleasant person. I'm sure we'd get along. The thing is, if you want to advocate for more federal funding to these things, we have to be able to call out and punish the fraud when it happens, or else no one's going to be supportive of that.
Well, then I guess friend of the show.
Alleged friend of the show.
Alleged friend of the show. Alleged guy that shot Caleb's whole career down. He tweeted, he quoted Hassan and said, you live stream yourself ranting about politics from your...
That was the soundboard disconnecting. So.
Oh, okay.
Whoa!
Like a cute little...
You live stream yourself ranting about politics from your bedroom for a living. Every time you go outside, you get humiliated on stream by someone pretending to be your fan. You are attacking Nick Shirley for knocking on doors of publicly funded daycares that defraud American taxpayers out of millions of dollars per year. You claim to be a champion of America's working class, yet when Nick shows that their tax dollars are being spent to fund third world fraud schemes across the country, you feel comfortable to attack his methods, but not the fraudsters stealing billions of dollars from American taxpayers. You are a bad actor supporting the destruction of America via the mass importation of infinite refugees that are plundering the country for everything it's worth while not giving a single fuck about the actual Americans struggling paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little further than I would go, but I think the valid point there specifically is that because it goes against like someone like Hassan's political ideology, these government funded, he's calling out Nick more than he's calling out the actual fraud.
Yes, it's just.
And I think that's a fair point. That's a fair. The full importation and everything is like okay, well, whatever. We're just trying to dunk at that point. But I think it is a valid criticism. It is a valid criticism. Like why was it all of a sudden about quote tweeting people and being like, hey, why'd you do it this way? No, like okay, now we know there is fraud. Let's call it out.
Right.
And then we have, I'm going to pull this one into drop link. This is basically a Tim Walz response after the video did numbers.
Oh. Timmy.
Yes,
almost their vice president.
Yes.
Which
is for their own benefit. This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they...
Okay, pause. This isn't, though. The people that are literally under, right now, the people that have been prosecuted for this are 90% Somali. That's not targeting a community. That is the fraud that has been exposed in these investigations that's been found to be there. Listen, let's not everything's racist. Just because there's the statistics doesn't always mean it's racist. This is where we lose it. This is... Fuck, man. I hate this fucking shit. I hate this racial politic bullshit. It's so stupid. Hey, if it was 90% whites, that all of a sudden doesn't mean it's okay, or that it's all of a sudden bad. Just because a Somali person doesn't mean all of a sudden it's okay, or that it's racist. What are we doing? Stop with this.
Scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
So it sounds to me, Nick, that Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes that...
Yeah, he's playing the fucking... that ideology bullshit.
That's a dangerous game to play.
It's a stupid ass game.
It's a dangerous and stupid
white supremacist? No, the fraud that has been prosecuted, if I'm not mistaken, by your own government in your state, it's you. Like, are you racist? That your state has investigated this and found this?
Well, that's the thing. Fraud is fraud. Numbers are numbers. And guess what? If it was 90% white people, we'd be saying it's 90% white. That is just the statistics that follow it. There's nothing racist or white supremacy about it. That is just statistics.
And it's also not white supremacist to say that if someone goes to a country, assimilate to that country. That's just good immigration. That's just good policy. That just keeps everyone happy and good in the end and safe and keeps us going. My goodness. Assimilation is important. I would have to assimilate to India if I went to India. We're not the only country that shouldn't be assimilated. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over and they're inside of these towns like Minneapolis where they can go get votes from...
Okay, see, and this is where it starts, I think, to go too far. Because now it's just hyper-focused only on that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, there's been a lot of fraud in Minnesota. It's like, now we're playing identity politics. They're both playing identity politics here, and I don't like that. It's just not as productive.
These people, if you have 100,000 people that will vote for you because you're going to enable and let this stuff happen...
No, actually, that's actually fair. Okay, so big group comes, you support, or at least don't go after the fraud, so it helps you get their vote. That's actually not a fair point. Or that's actually a fair point.
Yeah, I mean, you're incentivizing and essentially in some ways creating, like, your votes and then buying them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's super dangerous.
Because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota. Minnesotans, they say Minnesota nice, but they are very upset. And
fully understand why they're upset. Because they don't have a governor who's actually working for them. He's actually
Assimilation doesn't mean you have to lose your heritage. Exactly. In the 20th century, when it was Irish and Italian, you know, they had their own communities. A lot of their culture. There's fucking Chinatowns and stuff like that in cities. Like
I love fucking China. I love a Chinatown.
Like, but they still assimilate into our culture, our norms, our laws, But yes, they keep their cultures well, and it's actually a beautiful thing. And it means we got some pretty fucking badass food here.
Well, and I think, Caleb, like, at least the way I see it, the big distinction is there's folks that want to come to the United States, period, right?
Yeah.
And there's a plan and a pathway for them to be here and want to assimilate and be a part and, you know, contribute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another pathway for folks that are being incentivized to be here in some
Well,
cases.
it definitely sounds like with this fraud scheme, for
Right.
sure.
And so I think there's a big difference there, that there are people that are being, again, incentivized to come into certain communities and certain, you know.
I love people that want to come here.
Absolutely.
They want to come here because they love America, because they
100%.
love our culture, they love our laws, they love the entrepreneurial mindset that we're able to have here. This is why, you know, it's kind of crazy. You know, no one really complains about Mexican immigration anymore because it's not as much a thing. Now it's like other South American, Central American countries, or like overseas, Somalia or Middle East, whatever. So you don't really hear about it. But in hindsight, it's funny that you look back at like the 2000s when people complained about Mexican immigration, where like the UK was getting immigration from underdeveloped countries that didn't have really education and weren't able to contribute economically, where we had these people that came in, they were willing to do whatever the fuck it took to pay a bill, and they fucking grinded their asses off. I mean, I'm still against illegal immigration, but it's just funny, like, we got kind of lucky with the group that we got in 2000 compared to what, like, the UK got. We got people that wanted to work in the United States. They didn't want to just sit in their ass.
You're working against them.
Nick, your video's been viewed 93 million times. What do you think will be the result of this? Do you think that things will change because of bringing attention to this, or do you think it'll be much the same, swept under the rug, keep
Well, hopefully the federal government investigates for sure.
moving forward?
Yeah, there better be change. People are demanding it.
Okay, hey, remember when I said no retards allowed? We have a retard. It sounds like you want them to come here if they agree with your personal values. America isn't a monolith, Caleb. You are retarded. I said our laws.
But look at
I said our laws. Our laws aren't my values. People that come here and want to respect our laws are values. Retard?
See, Andrew R. See, his last name is Richard.
Ah, yes.
It's in his name.
How do people hear things, completely misconstrue it, and just like spit out bullshit?
Because they want to.
I will never understand how people hear things so incorrectly.
The investigations have been launched just from that video alone. And so there better be change because, like I said, we work way too hard to be paying taxes. We work way too hard to be not knowing where our money's going. And at the end of the day, people in government, they work for us. We don't work for them. And so it's their responsibility to hold these people accountable. And so if there's not something that's happened, people are going to be very frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like most of my federal check that I'm writing, you know, this year in a month or two.
Just went to daycares?
Went to Learning Center.
Aww.
Which, even if they had kids, they had fucking failures all along the way, completely slapped on them, and yet still stayed in. Now, I do want to hear the alternative perspective, because it is important to poke a hole in it. I know people are going to freak out about that, because, you should actually look into things, but let's go to Destiny's Twitter, please. I saw Destiny was trying to poke a hole in Tyler's video.
It's the second one. Omni-liberal.
Yep. And I want to hear all perspective. We can disagree with it. We can agree with it. It doesn't matter. Hold on, I'll take over. Okay, let me go from the top. Okay.
Probably replies, right?
Yeah, tweets and replies would be good. Okay, so that's about stock prices. Okay, if Truth Daycare is non-compliant with state law, which dictates they must be open during normal. What was that? Normal waking hours.
Working hours.
Work.
Waking. You're right. Sorry.
Okay, this is in response to Destiny saying, is everyone on X so privileged that they came from communities where it's just impossible to fathom that your parents might be working a swing shift or later in the day? I don't think it was necessarily that. That one lady in that one clip said that all the kids were coming at 2.
Right.
So that's not people coming in and out. That's like that was like a little weird. But he asked, can you not actually read? Do you even know what this rule is referring to? Does it mean every single daycare needs to be open for the entire specified hour listed? Okay, let's read the rule. A day program means childcare program operating during normal waking hours. Okay. What the fuck? I don't even know what this is. December 28th, is that? It's 2 days ago. I didn't even know about that. Okay, from the same people who brought you Quality Learning Center. He added Seth. Okay, I guess he's trying to.
It's the secretary.
Oh, yeah, okay. It is funny when people spell things wrong. Okay, my lower bound guess for how much fraud there is nationally. I'm sorry if I sound like a retard reading this. It's because the TV has a fucking glare on it where I sit and it's far away. My lower bound guess for how much fraud there is nationally is about 20% of the federal budget, which would be $1.5 trillion per year, probably much higher. Says Elon. Destiny says, how much ketamine do you have to abuse to be willing to publicly admit that over $1.5 trillion a year of fraud exists in the U.S. government, and your heavy-handed agency that was given the keys to every single executive office found nothing? Well, they found things. I don't think they found 1.5 trillion, but they found people that weren't alive in government contracts that were being kind of abused.
Right.
It wasn't 1.5 trillion dollars, so I guess both of their points I don't fully agree with. Okay. Operating hours of 2 to 10. Yeah, I wouldn't understand a daycare that only has operating hours 2 to 10. It would be like 6 a.m. to like 10.
Yeah.
It wouldn't open at 10. I've never heard of that personally. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Send it to me if it exists. Always willing to be wrong. Okay, Minnesota fraud. Okay. So it was a fake account, I guess. Oh, that was tweeted to for Nick Shirley. Why on earth is the Attorney General making a statement about ongoing changes that specifies that ethnic lineage of people charged with crimes? The people that were charged in Minnesota for these were, what was it, 90%, 80%?
And Caleb, there was a super chat that came through that they're really chatting about. So Walt's passed a bill allowing anyone to get a driver's license. With that driver's license, they're allowed to vote in the state elections. So that is kind of, that is another point that is being brought up.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I would like only citizens to be allowed to vote. Please and thank you. It's hard because we don't have a national ID. Social Security and driver's license have been kind of fully adapted for those. Those aren't perfect. Okay. Where did he called out the video specifically? Okay, here it is. Is this it? Yeah, okay, here we go. I see the slot picking up a lot of attention, and while I have a bunch of questions about a lot of shoddy journalism that was done for the video, here's an easy, quick question to demonstrate how bad faith the video was done. And Nick Shirley, why did you visit a place of business and not show the sign posted on the door that showed the hours of operation? Is it because it would have shown that you showed up a full hour before it opened? Okay, if that's true, that is pretty bad faith. If that is true. Here, let's keep looking. Images 1 and 2, a fan of mine drove to the business and took a photo, posted sign he tried to hide, and it clearly stated the hours were 2. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. What do we think of that? You think this was put up after the video was uploaded?
I'm gonna say that looks like some fresh tape.
It does look a little fresh. I don't want to get too conspiratorial.
Again, well, I love conspiracy. I'm gonna say it looks fresh. That looks like fresh printer paper as well. So.
Image 3, this is a photo of the phone screen of the lady who answers the door at the next place you visit. The time listed on the phone is 1:09 p.m. This happens at 22:20 in the video. Image 4, the next photo is the time being listed 2:33 for the next place you visit. This happens to be 33:08 in the video. Okay. It's Warjack. What is it, Wojak? Warjack? Warjack face? I mean, if that's true, that is pretty bad faith. If that's up, it's going to be impossible for us to know if that was put up before or after. Is Nick Shirley lying about this video? Destiny says yes. Well, this is why I want a federal agency to look into it. Because, listen, you can disagree with how he went about it. We know a couple things for a fact. $250 million of fraud since 2009. Most of it was through that food thing, but there were the autism center things were legitimate. 4 places have been shut down and people convicted that were daycares in Minnesota. Of the people that were convicted, this is not racist, this is just true. The people that have been prosecuted, about 90% were Somalian. Those are facts we know. What we do not know is that, hey, maybe this video is bad faith. Maybe some of those places were already closed. We will not know until someone investigates, and I hope someone investigates. So maybe Destiny's right, maybe Nick is right, only time will tell on that. But we do know about the people that have been convicted, places that have been closed down, and even the Learning Center, regardless, has had 44, violations, which that alone should be kind of alarming, like safety violations. So that's personally where I stand. I'm willing to be open-minded about this video, let information come in, the 2 p.m. thing, the thing on the door, let an investigation take place. You know, content creator, I always have to be a little nervous. You know, just like AdSense and whatnot, and just, you know, trying to get a video out. But maybe Nick's right, maybe Destiny's right. We will find out. I hope we'll find out. I hope investigations are done. One is bad faith, maybe neither are bad faith. I don't know. I'm sorry I'm sitting on the fence, but we do know $250 million of fraud has been done. People have been convicted, and that is bad. And the federal government thinks it's up to $8 or $9 billion of potential fraud, and will not be able to recover that most likely because most has been sent overseas in Kenya banks, in Chinese banks. So that's what I think. You have any closing thoughts on that, or anything else we wanted to show?
No, I think that is going to conclude.
I know people on the internet won't like this, chat won't like this. That it's like, this is a developing story. This is new information is coming out. So if you want me to be a real person and try to be as objective as I want, even if I agree or disagree with you at times, I'm not at the point to have a conclusive answer on this one specifically. And you shouldn't want me to. We're not there yet. As more information comes out, I will have a conclusive thing. But we know for a fact $250 million of fraud has happened, and it's disgusting. And everyone, including on those who support, especially those who support those programs, should call out that fraud, should advocate for more investigations, because we want those programs to work successfully. They want those programs to work successfully. So call out the fraud. No sacred cows in this country. That's what I think. Whoa, update from the story we covered today. It is the manager of the Quality Learning Center.
You were here earlier today. I came here, I want to find you. You were here. Where are you now? You came with who? You came with a front. Where are you? Why are you not here right now? It's like you're trying to put out a certain message about a certain group. I'm not gonna make that claim. I don't want to make that claim without me knowing him personally, but that's what it seems like he's doing from his front. Where are you right now? He was here early. He was recording us. We had no issue with him. He told me, hey, get off our property. You can record. No, he's not here. Outside of those hours, and then claim,
Whoa, hold on.
you can record. No, he's not here.
The manager of Quality Learning Center says YouTuber Nick Shirley dropped by hours before the center was open. Sign on the door says it's open from 2 to 10. So this is what Destiny shared. Let's make sure our editor knows to include this. We witnessed about 20 kids get dropped off Monday afternoon, days after the YouTube accused them of not having any kids at the taxpayer-funded childcare. That could be a valid criticism if that is true. It really could.
But it also could be a valid criticism that as soon as they knew that somebody was going to be calling them out, that they then, yeah. I mean, it's as we discussed.
I have happened.
And
is it common for daycares to open in the after 2 p.m.? Actually, it might be because schools get out. It actually might be a normal time for daycares to open. Okay, it says no, a 2 p.m. opening time would be unusual for a typical daycare, but it can be normal for specialized afternoon or after school programs, but this ain't.
It's that is not what it was
not
branded
program.
as. Yeah.
Most daycares open between 5:30 or 6:30, 8 or 8. Some programs offer a half-day afternoon block as part of, okay, so this could be it. So for example, 1 to 5 or 2 to 6, and this did open at 2. Yeah, but it says it only opens at 2, which is rare. And it's not an after-school program.
Don't open it!
If a place says it opens at 2 p.m., it is likely an afternoon-only or after-school enrichment program, not a standard full-day daycare center. Are they getting taxpayer-funded as a full daycare center, though? Okay.
Yeah.
Outside of those hours, and they claim, hey, they're closed, and they're still making money. They're using taxpayer money to work, and it's like you don't come outside of operational hours, and then say they're using taxpayer money. That's completely false. As you can see, we're open Mondays through Thursdays, 2 to 10 p.m.
Those are just
Monday to Thursday, 2 to 10 p.m.
It's so weird.
Okay.
It's weird.
Allow me to go down to conspiracy.
Do
It's
it.
weird though.
I love when you do that.
So if I can open up a daycare and get funding, but then I make my hours nothing so I don't have to work, is that considered a valid argument? They made their hours when kids need less daycare, and they closed 3 days a week. So can I just like open it up, get my funding, and then just open and close whenever I want? There are no rules to follow here?
I don't think anyone's really paying attention. But they sure are cutting those checks, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
He was here earlier. I don't see it right now.
I was potentially accepting the 2 p.m. thing. The Friday thing's weird.
Yeah.
Somalians have Fridays off?
I don't know. If they do, then I'm converting.
Yeah, me too.
So
Not Fridays.
Are you trying to record that we're doing fraud, or are you trying to put somebody name in the fraud in the same sentence? That's what really hurt us the last couple.
He definitely hyper-focused on the Somalis. He didn't focus on the overall fraud. But we do know the percentage of those in these fraud cases that have been pursued have been mostly Somali.
We're open.
Now, I guess a valid devil's advocate is like, okay, well, they're only pursuing the Somalis that have done fraud instead of everyone that does fraud, or is, 90% of the people that have done this kind of fraud that has been prosecuted Somali. So, fuck.
We haven't closed. We've been open for eight and a half years now. We haven't closed once during that period. So I'm going to touch.
But you have had 44 violations.
On that first. The second thing is, which is kind of laughable, is the sign. We messed up the sign. We made somebody to do our sign. He incorrectly did it. We're having him work on it. We made him to correct it.
How would you put it up, though?
Why would you put it up? And I want to know, I want receipts for that. When did you get the sign? When did you get it reordered? And when is it supposed to be delivered? Because I don't trust that you wouldn't put it up. You would put it up.
There are a lot of private schools that don't have sessions on Fridays. It's interesting.
Also, I'm going to say that sign looks like AI slop.
Yeah, it does. But yeah.
I mean, bad. Real bad.
He should have done AI slop. At least it would have spelled it right.
Hopefully.
I said it'll be done by this week. So by the end of this week, our sign will be fine. The third thing, which is the fraud claim. There's no fraud going on whatsoever. Kids come to us, clients come to us, their parents come to us. They're here daily. They leave on time.
Daily from starting at 2, 4 days a week.
Yeah, by daily you mean Monday through Thursday.
It's okay. Maybe that's their business hours, but is that what we're supporting via taxpayer money? I just don't know. Fuck.
Come on time. There's no fraud going on whatsoever. Where those claims came from? I mean, if a group of people does fraud, you don't.
Well, the claims came from the Congress of your own state earlier this year. So that's not even. It's actually a bad look that he's acting like he's like, where did this come from? Just a YouTuber? No, this is actually, you would have known if your business was being called out by the state government earlier in the year. That all of a sudden just made him look like a kind of a little disingenuous. That kind of makes him look bad for the rest of this shit.
Yeah, I think that
Kind of ruined his credibility.
I understand. It sucks when you got a bag and your bag gets fucked up. I get that. I get that. And I don't expect them to like fully take it out and be like, we're doing fraud. Okay, you got us. But it kind of feels like you guys are doing fraud.
Yeah, just
Listen,
your state government thinks so, federal government might think so, and the internet currently thinks so. We're not entitled to anything, but this was where, as a business owner with this much heat, I would just show that it's not. Somehow. I would try to show every single proof. I'm not entitled to it. In an investigation they will be, but...
Paint the price of everyone there. You don't say, hey, there's a group of people that are somebody that are doing fraud. Say, hey, every single somebody must be part of fraud. No, we're business owners.
Which I agree. I don't like the whole loop in. I don't like the identity politics stuff. And again, the question is, what's the question? Are 90% of the people that commit this kind of fraud in Minnesota Somali, or did they,
only source the...
Did they pursue fraud in the Somali community? Chicken or egg? I don't know.
What came first, the fraud or the Somali?
Here's what I think happens. I think you have a friend that, I think it's like...
Very close community.
Exactly. And I think, somebody started doing some stuff and they were like, let me cut you in on this. And then the next person was like, oh, I got this thing going, let me cut you in. You're taking care of each other, totally. Like, respect that, 100%. Community's important. Close-knit communities are awesome.
But not if it's not assimilating. Not if it's enabling bad behavior.
I think I'm splitting those two things up. I think the assimilation is different than the fraud.
I hope so, because remember, this is going to sound kind of xenophobic, but the culture in South Somalia,
right, not great,
is like fraud, scam, pirate. Like actually, that's not a racist thing.
No.
What?
Like northern Somaliland is actually a halfway decent place. So I'm being objective in this. I'm not just shitting on Somali.
How has nobody done the line from the movie today? That was great.
I'm the top done now.
Okay, there we go.
So that's why I say assimilate, because if that's a part of your culture, that it's just like the common thing to do is try to manipulate any system.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they are, but I'm just that's why I advocate for assimilation more than anything.
And being a business owner is extremely tough.
It is.
Trying to raise kids.
And honestly, big guy, if you are doing a legitimate business and you are getting all this shit, I am sorry. And I hope you can prove it, because I'll go shit on the other guy for calling you out. Because I feel that. As someone that's been called out for fake bullshit, I feel that. Now you gotta kind of, this unfortunately lands in that area where there's so much attention and everything where it's like, the only thing to show that it's not true is to show that it's not true. That's on you. I'm sorry you're in that position. If you're a good guy and being truthful.
There are not equal words, there are others, it's extremely tough as well. But then for people to come and be like, hey, they're not really working, they're just taking free money. If any of us have children here, raising children is not easy. Trying to,
especially on Fridays,
trying to help them with schoolwork, trying to build their manners is not easy work. So when somebody comes and does that, it's really disheartening. The community itself, as Minnesota, as Somalis, as people that own this business for 8 years now, we do nothing but uplift the community, uplift our children, uplift one another, uplift now Somalis, uplift Somalis, make a better community for all of us. So if somebody comes in and says, hey, we're not doing this, it's like, if you would have came in operational hours and there's no one here, okay, there's not a point.
Yeah. I mean, that might be a valid argument. And it might be. We just have to see. He kind of fucked me at the, what, now this guy's all of a sudden just saying this? Where'd this come from? Dude, your state government was already, warned about your place earlier this year. You can't just say that it's just a random YouTuber all of a sudden. That makes you look bad.
He came, I think it was 11 a.m. Obviously, there's no cars in the parking lot. If you look around, there's cars now. Yeah, because our employees are here, our children are here, our clients are here. They don't come at 10 a.m. You're like, hey, their doors aren't open. Obviously, our doors aren't open at 10 a.m. We're not open 10 a.m.
So my closing thought on all this is I highly doubt every single one of these places that Nick went to is fraud, but I also would be willing to bet money that some of them are, especially the place where it's like, your type of kid doesn't belong here. That kind of stuff. Right. That kind of stuff is sketchy as fuck. And since we already have examples where they're barely even willing to investigate and prosecute these, and we already have examples in the last few years of 4 getting closed down, charged, and shoved behind the cell, some of them. Look into it, federal. Punish those that need to be punished, and let go. And honestly, let the world know about the genuine ones that were not bad. So that, we can kind of poop on people who called them bad. That's what I'd say.
I agree with that.
Poor Joey. He just needs somewhere to
Joey
go.
just wanted to go to daycare.
Oh, Joey.
What's up? Not too much. Finding shit, doing things. You know how it be. I mean, I talked to you a second ago.
Welcome to the fucking news. I'm your host, Brendan looked outside to see who it was and came face to face with an angry-looking man pointing an AR directly at him. Holy shit! Brendan tried to explain the situation, but the man was... I want to kiss you on December 31st. A year ago now, a YouTuber named Megalag dropped a video that was the culmination of an extended investigation that spanned the course of a very long period of time about a company who has worked very closely in the YouTube ecosystem for years, Honey, who was once the YouTube darling sponsor absolutely everywhere, more common than the cold, and never really had like a bad reputation, but Megalag, through a very extensive investigation, found some shocking, shady things. These are really damning things. The evidence is very, very strong. So, creators that worked with Honey that would have their own special deals to promote to their audience, the audience would then use those codes on the website, but Honey had some protocol that would occasionally perhaps poach that sale and take the commission that was supposed to go to the creator, and they would take the lion's share. There were a lot of cases that Megalag was able to point to, and even in his follow-up video shows even stronger evidence of how this actually functions, where it seems to be a core component of Honey itself, where it will overwrite your cookie, it will inject itself, and it is looking to make that commission in a lot of cases. It's very scummy shit. In this second part of the video, you can hear from a business how that actually fucks you as a consumer. A few hours ago, PayPal's lawyer sent me a cease and desist letter and requested Patreon take down my video under a copyright infringement claim. I consider this a direct attack against my fundamental rights as an independent journalist. PayPal has specifically taken issue with the fact that an anonymous source discovered Honey had left their source code exposed within their iOS app, which, if you know where to look, is publicly accessible. This anonymous source found the code and sent it to me. I reviewed the code for security research purposes, which is a protected act, and I only published relevant sections of the code that provide important context to the story, which I consider within the realm of public interest. I haven't seen the unredacted video here where the source code was like more talked about, where you had these video components that showed, I suppose, sections of that when it was relevant, but it seems like it was more so a convenient excuse for PayPal to get the video taken down from his Patreon, and in order to get around that for the YouTube video, he just took the entire section out. Why? Well, you see, besides lying to consumers and stealing from influencers, Honey was also causing serious harm to small businesses. So much so that I believe brands have likely suffered millions of dollars in damages. But that's not all. In this video, you're also going to learn how Honey was collecting and sharing your data, and how they, in my opinion, illegally targeted minors through influencers such as MrBeast. Strong accusations, I know, but I have the receipts. And the receipts are pretty convincing. So those are like the main components of this new video. This is an hour-long video almost. It goes deep here. This shit is deeper than my pussy. It is a very thorough look at all of it. And I know after the first video, people had a lot of questions, and I feel like here he sheds even more light on it through an even deeper analysis of Honey itself and the way in which it functions. It's not just him working alone. He had people help him with, like, getting a lot of the data so it can be viewed more easily and more accessible, so that way he doesn't have to make any, like, leaping conclusions or anything. He doesn't have to just, like, start trying to fill in the blanks off of, you know, just fucking hunch, like, intuition. He's able to look at these things much closer in order to draw much stronger analysis from it. In fact, Made in Cookware CEO Chip perfectly summed up the devastating impact Honey's actions can have on a small business.
When you're in the early stages of building a business, you're in the stage of, will this company even work? is there product market fit? How do I scale this thing? Can the economics work, right? And so all the things we talked about, these discount codes and the kind of removal of attribution and killing margin, like those really affect the early stages of a company, from everything from where do I put the next dollar in to make sure I can survive, down to you're taking 10, 15, 20% of my sales without me wanting it. And we have digital marketing costs, we have shipping costs, we have all these stacks of costs that not only are getting more inflated over time, like FedEx has been raising their rates over time, warehousing costs have gone up, COGS have gone up, as you know, through inflation for the last 4 or 5 years, right? Like all the cost structures have been going up, and to have someone just stealing and compressing the actual revenue you want, like puts small businesses in a real squeeze. It's just really disappointing, and like it doesn't even work, because at the end of the day, like you need to make the numbers work, and if Honey is going to steal 10% of your revenue all the time, you're going to have to raise prices at the end of the day to make up for that, right? So it's not only not effective, but it makes it worse for the consumer. It compresses for the small business owner any margin, and it's just like a really awful business model. Like we've been so mad at them.
That is a great explanation from him. I think that's very valuable insight that paints the whole picture clearly. Even if you're in a fucking Xanax-induced fugue state right now listening to this, I feel like you'd hear that and understand what makes this so bad for everybody. Businesses, consumers, and obviously like the affiliate partners, like the creators. One other thing that was mentioned, but I didn't put it here in this space, is how brands, like when they find out about Honey poaching the affiliate commissions, it makes it hard for them to know where to attribute commissions. So what'll happen is this confusion where they don't know where a commission goes. So like let's say they're working with a podcaster or a YouTuber or something, and things get really muddy. It makes it hard for them to know where they're supposed to put that money in the first place. So what ends up happening is they end up pulling out of that market entirely. So now they're not working with your favorite content creator anymore. So they're getting shafted, and they also potentially overspend on the compensation because of how confusing it gets. There was another example given how like a business had spent over $100,000 on like potentially like misattributed commissions from the affiliate marketing as a result of this kind of shit. Like it gets to be a lot. So then they pull out of that market as well. But what's obviously the thing a lot of people are going to care the most about is how it makes the deals worse for you, because as he said, if PayPal Honey is going to be taking 10% of all of their revenue through this, which they can't really do a whole lot about, their hands being tied, well, they're going to have to make up for that loss somehow. And that is raising prices. That's how you make the numbers work again. If you're going to be losing 10%, you're going to have to raise the prices in order to compensate, so that way you're not going like negative, or you're not starting to like tread water, which is what a lot of businesses inevitably have to do. And something like PayPal Honey putting the squeeze on them makes it worse. So that is a huge problem, and that is how it affects you, even if you are not a Honey user yourself. It is a bad deal for everybody involved here, except Honey.
Chip was kind enough to share his email exchanges with Honey from 2020, and you need to see it because holy shit. Hi, I am the CEO of Made in Cookware. Please remove us from your app. You've scraped our private friends and family code from our checkout and put it on the platform for others to use. We've lost a bunch of revenue. 4 days later, Honey responds with, "Hi Chip, thanks for reaching out. Honey supports over 40,000 stores online, and we always prioritize protecting the Honey experience for users by supporting available stores and displaying available codes. We can absolutely remove the code in question. In order to protect the Honey experience for our users, we typically do not remove codes unless we have a working relationship." I mean, right off the bat, they're basically saying, we won't compromise the experience for our users unless you pay us. Classy. We'd love to discuss how we can work more closely and partner with your brand. Chip replies the same day, "We don't offer affiliate deals to coupon sites. We'd like to be removed from your site and extension completely."
The email showcased just how difficult it is to just be removed from Honey. He is putting in plain English, hey, we're losing revenue because of you guys. Please just take us off of this shit. I'm begging. It's like a fucking telemarketer that's refusing to take you off the call sheet. It's brutal. He reaches out to them because Honey had scraped a private code, which is something that earlier in the video, Megalag shows very strong evidence as like a thing that happens, not super unusual with Honey, which is a code that they didn't want to be public. It shouldn't have been public. A lot of businesses have these kind of private codes for like employees or friends and families, or in some cases, as was mentioned earlier in this video, like veterans or something. And Honey will sometimes get these codes and make them public so people can use them, which really fucks the businesses, because those weren't supposed to be public. They were supposed to be for a specific person or a specific purpose. So the CEO we just heard from, this is his exchange with them, reaching out like, hey, this happened to us, we're losing revenue, get rid of this, and please take us off of Honey entirely, we don't want to work with you. And whatever zombie he's talking to over there at Honey is just not letting that shit fly. They're playing hardball, trying their best to keep them shackled to Honey, even though they didn't want Honey to be there in the first place. They were uninvited to this hootenanny, yet now they don't have a choice.
His leak code was added through Honey's user-generated coupon functionality. No surprises there. She completely ignores his request to be removed from the platform, only offering to remove the leaked employee discount. Chip replies the same day, "A friends and family code was listed on your site. That was an internal code meant for a small group of people that was never published anywhere. A whole site can't be removed from your app?" Honey only responds a week later, confirming they removed the employee discount, but again, completely ignores Chip's request to be removed from Honey. Chip responds immediately, pushing for an answer, but they ignore his email completely. A month later, and Honey leaks another private discount code. "Hi, please remove from your app. That is a private code behind a private employee perk login. This should never be public. I don't understand how you feel taking a private employee perk and making that public to the world is helping our business." Honey responds, confirming they removed the code, but instead of taking responsibility, they try shifting the blame onto Chip, suggesting his employees might be responsible for sharing the code with Honey. But given what we know about their system, I'm willing to bet Honey were responsible for the leak, not Chip's employees. Honey then suggests that Chip creates single-use codes for each and every employee.
Wonderful. Thanks for the unsolicited advice there on how he should run his business with his employees here, knowing full well that Honey does, in cases, take that kind of shit, even if it wasn't the fault of the employee. Allegedly. Like, it's fucking sickening. It's so disgusting, like, the pompous attitude that comes through on these emails from Honey. This is a business that did not want to be with Honey in the first place, and there was another business that was interviewed in this video about, like, how he'd never even heard of Honey, but apparently people were getting tons of discounts on his site because of Honey, and he had never even fucking heard of the service before. So Honey, and you're about to hear from Mega Lag in the video here, Honey seems to just be subjecting these businesses, these small businesses, to their wrath, where they're just giving out, in certain cases, private coupon codes to users, which obviously damages the small business and causes them to lose revenue and causes a huge headache there. And then the only way to get off of it is by partnering with Honey, and basically, once you are partnered with Honey, then you tell them to exclude that kind of stuff, which is something that piggybacks off of a bit of what Megalag talked about in the first video, where, you know, partnered brands, they have, like, these certain exclusions and stuff. It's a really, like, awful business model that is bad for literally everyone but Honey, and it's kind of mind-boggling how the only way to get out of it in a small business's position like this is to partner with Honey and say, stop fucking us, no more of these coupons. So they get you. They get you because they fuck you raw a bit, and they slap you around, and then when you go to them for, like, assistance, they're like, can't really do anything about that unless you were partnered with Honey. You ever thought about that? If you know, work with us, maybe fork over a couple of doubloons, a little bit of those clams, well, maybe then we can work a little something out about these pesky little coupons our millions of users keep finding.
If Honey wanted to target minors so badly, they should have just sponsored one. Oh, wait a minute, that's exactly what they did. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Desiree Machado, who at the time was just 14 years old.
Guys, I'm only 14.
Hilariously, one of her videos that Honey
The
sponsored
Grand Council Chamber of the Galactic Alliance sparkled like a freshly polished trophy wife's collection of diamonds, which is to say, it was trying way too hard to look important. Crystalline chandeliers floated through some technologically advanced means that was probably just magnets with a fancy name, while the walls shifted through various shades of precious metals, because apparently regular paint wasn't good enough for the most prestigious governing body in the known universe. High Councillor Zixital, a being who resembled what might happen if you crossed a peacock with a jellyfish and then gave it a bureaucrat's soul, adjusted their shimmer robes for the 15th time in as many minutes, their tentacles twisted in agitation as they reviewed the datapad floating before them. This cannot be correct, they announced to the assembled council members, each representing different species and looking various degrees of concerned, bored, or constipated. According to these reports, the humans have achieved faster-than-light travel using something they developed while trying to make their morning stimulant more efficient. The reports are accurate, High Counselor, wheezed Ambassador Pixtrill, whose species had evolved from something akin to a hyper-intelligent dust bunny. They call it the quantum coffee drive. Apparently someone spilled their espresso into a particle accelerator. A collective shudder ran through the chamber. The Alliance had been monitoring Earth for centuries, and nothing terrified them more than humanity's dependence on their bitter bean juice. The fact that humans willingly ingested a substance that could strip paint from spacecraft was concerning enough. That they had somehow weaponized it into a revolutionary propulsion system was nothing short of horrifying. "And now they want membership in the Alliance?" snorted Councillor Vreen, whose snout was particularly well suited for snorting. These are the same beings who, when told something is impossible, say, "Hold my coffee," and then proceed to break several laws of physics out of spite. "That's precisely why we need to consider their application carefully," Zixatal said, their bioluminescence pulsing with anxiety. "Need I remind the Council of the incident?" The chamber fell silent. Every member present knew exactly which incident the High Counselor meant. It had only been 3 standard cycles since a human engineer had casually handed their beverage to an Alliance observer before proceeding to fix a quantum core breach using nothing but something called duct tape, a paperclip, and what they claimed was the power of spite and caffeine. The repair shouldn't have worked. It couldn't have worked. Yet somehow, that jury-rigged solution was now being studied by the Alliance's top scientists, who still couldn't explain how it violated at least 7 fundamental laws of physics, while simultaneously improving the core's efficiency by 300%. Perhaps, ventured Ambassador Pixtrill, shedding anxiety dust onto the pristine floor, we should consider what might happen if we deny their application. Do we really want a species that treats impossibility as a personal challenge to remain unsupervised? The council chamber erupted into nervous chatter, their voices mixing with the soft hum of the anti-gravity chandeliers. High Counselor Zixatal's tentacles tied themselves into what humans might recognize as a sailor's knot, a sure sign of extreme distress.
Rack and cluster-level building blocks of AI factories.
The Star Wars galaxy was ruled by a number of interplanetary governments throughout tens of thousands of years of history. In this video, we'll be covering all of it and devastated the New Republic. They successfully captured Coruscant and destroyed the New Republic, but were eventually defeated when their supreme overlord was killed. The Galactic Federation of Free Alliances was founded 28 years after the Battle of Yavin, near the end of the Yuzon-Vong War. The government persevered through the Swarm War and the Second Galactic Civil War, but was reorganized into the Triumvirate following the Sith Imperial War. The Confederation was a group of systems that joined Corellia against the Galactic Alliance 40 years after the Battle of Yavin. It was established in the year 138 ABY and consisted of the Galactic Alliance, the Jedi Order, and what was left of the Fel Empire, and was the last known galactic government in Legends history. So that brings this video to a close. Which government would you like to learn more about? The Galactic Federation of Free Alliances was founded 28 years after the Battle of Yavin, near the end of the Yuzon-Vong War. The government persevered through the Swarm War and the Second Galactic Civil War.
success among their species. Very well, they announced.
Dear acorns. Growing up, I had a tough childhood, but it's the reason I work so hard today.
Hey all, it is the battle today. Galactic Alliance forces commanded by a Viscount Star Defender attack Narsada, but I need in battle where I can. If you do not know about that,